There it goes.
What?
There it goes. It's working. Good. I'm glad. You want to do a check, Troy, to see how it sounds before we start?
I think you. Wait, I can't see it.
Yeah, I see it on the Pixologic channel.
We need to refresh.
Yeah, it's working now.
How's the sound between all of us? The music low, high?
Shoot.
It's delayed, remember?
It's okay.
I can't hear any music at all.
Okay, that's good. I'll just turn it up. I'll turn the music up. A bit staticky. We might have to move to.
Basically, me and Lindsay, yeah, can't hear us at all.
I haven't said
Sorry.
anything. Can you hear me?
Okay, I'm gonna turn you guys up. Doing some sound test, guys. One sec. Okay, let's test this.
Check, check.
I'll turn you guys way up.
Oh no.
Check 1, 2.
Check 1, 2.
Still, okay, give it a second, guys. You guys let me know. Lindsay's, I wonder, do you have any settings, Lindsay, to
Turn
Ooh.
mine up?
yeah.
Potentially.
I turned you up a bit. I can turn you guys up more. It's no problem.
You guys will all regret it when I laugh.
Can you guys hear her a little bit better? I turned her up a bit.
Can you hear me?
For anyone coming in, we're doing some sound checks before we continue. Lindsay is getting better. Okay.
Getting better.
I'm just gonna put you all the way up to like almost 100%.
Warmer. I'll try and speak up as well.
How's that sound, guys? Yeah, if there's any way, Lindsay, on your end to turn yourself up on, like through your audio settings,
I'll have a look.
pump it.
Okay.
Usually if you go to like right click the sound icon near your block and you put recording devices,
Okay.
you can like right click your microphone
Oh, yep.
and go to properties and go to levels and just put it all the way to 100.
Sweet.
I'm 5 times louder. Oh shit. I don't want to be louder. Let's see how loud Troy is. Oh my god. Troy sounds so loud to me.
I can hear Troy just fine.
I'll turn me down just a little bit. Check, check. You guys.
Sorry, it's on the iPad. iPad. That's why. I'm
Oh, sorry, you're not on the computer. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I'll find it.
Troy, can you do a quick check?
Hello?
All right. Check for me, check for Troy, check for Lindsay. Everyone can hear everyone a little bit better now. So hello to Lucy, Draze, Gretchkovic, Dag, Omni, Thematicus, Dark.
Who's?
Okay, I'll try to boost you guys one more time.
Yeah, we weren't really talking for a bit though.
Yeah.
Weird. Okay. Hang on, guys. This is just what happens when you stream.
The trials and tribulations of streaming.
I think that should be a bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just wait so I can hear myself and then Yep, that's good.
All right, Lindsay, one more hello.
Yep. Hello, everybody. Better. Yay. Oh yeah, we're getting the thumbs up.
All right. So as an introduction, oh, my camera is really dark. So as an introduction to what's up for anybody watching live and anybody watching the video, my name is Layna, and I am a full-time digital sculptor for IHaztoys. Which what we do at IHaztoys is sculpt toys digitally, and we go through the pipeline of creating them into collectible figurines. We also have Troy down below, who's been in the industry for. His video is teeny tiny. He's been doing this for what, 15 years now?
14, yeah.
14 specifically.
Yeah, maybe like 14.2 years or something. 14.24 years.
14.2 in a few days.
Not specific enough. Details.
Down to the hour.
Sorry. So for anyone who is keen on actually just on like what is going to be worked on, gosh, for many weeks and months now, I've been working on Remi, but we had a big hiatus. We visited the States. We came back, got some awesome feedback, and now I'm putting in some of those updates on her, and she will be the next toy in the pipeline, hopefully. But as far as the cool stuff happening on this stream, we have an awesome guest speaker and really close friend of ours, Lindsay Crummett.
Yay! Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. That's my drum roll.
So welcome, Lindsay.
Very happy to be here. Thanks, guys.
Wow. Do I sound like a robot to you, Roy?
All the time, like forever, and like us, but on the stream it's nice. So.
Aww, you sound good in my headphones.
I always sound good, no matter what.
John Troy Nickel, everybody. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, maybe you sound a little bit robotic to me as well, but for some reason Troy doesn't, so I'm gonna sadly have to back him on that one.
Really? But I don't sound like a robot on the stream?
No, it's clear.
Good.
Far out. Weird. Okay. I hope the music too loud, by the way? Does it sound fine?
It sounded good to me, but I like loud music, so maybe.
Okay. Well, first off, Lindsay, who are you?
Oh. My name is Lindsay Crummett, and I've been working in the film industry for just over 10 years. and just sort of moved throughout. I didn't start off as digital actually. I started off practically. So I was making props. I was sculpting prosthetics. Uh, all of I went to school for character design, but did everything like practically, painting and drawing and everything. And so I actually only started doing a whole lot more digital stuff when I got to Weta Workshop, and I've been doing collectible sculpting for around the last 5 years. So ZBrush sculpting collectibles for Weta. So I've done lots of Hobbit and Lord of the Rings collectibles, and I also do some concept design work, also utilizing ZBrush quite a bit.
No, that's cool.
Oh.
It's funny because like we know all this. We know all this and we've heard it, and it's funny because we're like trying to make it kind of like cool for everybody else that has never heard any of this stuff before, you know what I mean?
Why do you have to try to make it cool? It's like cool all the time in an easy way.
But
Okay,
I know
sure.
you guys have fucking heard this shit, and like you guys work with me at work, and I'm like, hey guys, I work at Weta Workshop.
Oh, we know this is for everyone who doesn't know.
That's what I mean.
That's
That's why it's
like
fun.
Troy's like going, wow, cool.
Yeah. Ah, I see.
Is anything dropping for you, Troy? People are having a few issues with that as well. I wonder if it's just like running ZBrush and the stream at the same time. Well, the first like 15-20 minutes is debugging. So for anyone tuning in, being like, oh my god, that's just what's gonna happen.
The shit's gonna get sorted.
Mm-hmm. Then it'll be smooth later, I'm sure.
There's me.
I don't really know what to do about that. Unless you guys want to like stream with no music, I'm okay with that. Maybe it's YouTube. You dropping too, Troy?
I can't see dropping.
Like 4 people. Okay, hang on, Lindsay. Sorry.
Yeah, it's alright.
Are you any drop frames on your OBS?
Nope, none.
You could try to. Well, let's just see. Just see if it smooths out or not.
It might be settling in. Let's talk about something that's really important, Lindsay. Like way more than all the cool stuff you did. You were in a commercial.
Oh.
Everyone's talking about it. It's awesome. I had no idea it came out until you showed me. What was your experience like on that?
Oh. It was. I got to do some actoring. No, it was. Yeah, Lucy, I saw that you said that you saw it. That's awesome. I didn't realize. I think most people saw it before I realized it was even out, because we shot it real recently actually, and they were just looking for people to kind of pitch Wellington to the world, and and so it's just an advertisement for Wellington. So they were trying to get somebody. They wanted some real specific people who had just emigrated to New Zealand, somebody who'd been here for a long time. And so they basically, the director knew me, and she's like, well, the character is in her mid-30s. She's married. She's been in New Zealand for like 10 years. She works as a concept artist in the film industry. And so she said, so it's basically you, so just be you on camera. And so I did.
It looked very natural. Like seriously, it looked really good.
The film crew were super onto it.
That's awesome. Did you see it yet, Troy?
Huh?
Did you see it yet?
No, I need to watch it.
It's very good. Andrew and Chiba and Biz look amazing.
Chiba's the best actor.
She was the best one.
She was the best out of everyone in the commercial.
Yeah, I wonder if we should just have no music. Whatever. Anyway.
Are you using Spotify or something?
I'm using just YouTube playlist like I always do.
Yeah, I mean, you could turn it off if you want, man. Just have it silent. Just remove it. Take the burden away from OBS.
I'll give it about 5 minutes and see what everyone thinks, and then we'll just make the decision from there, and can fill the void of silence with our beautiful voices.
Or just breathe heavily.
Yeah.
Make everybody feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, no, so that was really cool. But back to the stuff you do.
Yeah.
Can you, like, maybe, I don't know. I'm interested. If I like got an opportunity to talk to you and I'd never talked to you before, my first question would definitely be like, tell me how you started.
Yeah. Sometimes I struggle because with telling people about how I started, because I feel like I went about everything in such a roundabout way. I didn't kind of start exactly where I knew what I wanted to do and studied all the right programs, and it's weird. It was almost like before concept art was such a like rock star job. Not that it is, but like it can be treated like it is sometimes. And so I was at school. I went to university in California, and they didn't even have anything like a particular department. I had to make up my own emphasis, and so I was like, I wanted to do character design, and I told my teachers, and I was sculpting using super sculpting, and doing maquettes and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's why I feel like I did go a little bit the wrong direction, because it was that funny timing of I thought I could do design work through sculpting maquettes, and I loved Lord of the Rings, of course, and so I wanted to work in the film industry in New Zealand rather than like in Hollywood, and
Good choice.
yeah, and it's funny because it was right in that transition time where we started sculpting a lot less physically or practically, and it started moving to digital. So I got into the sculpting department right when that transition was happening. So it was a bit of a like, oh shit, maybe I should have learned to do this digitally. And then there was a bit of a hiatus at workshop at Weta. They work on projects, films, and then after one's done, sometimes there's a bit of a lag between the next project.
Mm-hmm.
And so I actually had a number of months off where there was no work, and my partner, or husband actually, Andrew Baker, who's fantastic and quite amazing with the old ZBrush. He's a designer at he designed at Weta Workshop for many years, and he's elsewhere now. But
he also has a great beard.
He has a fantastic beard.
Just as a side note.
Yeah, just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Bit Ragnar-esque.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was really fortunate because he taught me a lot about ZBrush, because he was, really good with it already. Obviously, that's what he did for a living, and he knew that I was, wanting to learn how to go digital, and so he taught me heaps. And then I just practiced at home solidly for those months that I had off. And when we started back at work, I pretty much dove right into the digital sides of things and haven't gone back. That's what I mean. It's kind of like I kind of learned to do everything on the job while I was already working at Weta, which is a bit backwards.
No, that's kind of cool though. Did you feel like you benefited more that way, learning on the job, than like being at home trying to learn everything you could before getting a job? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, on the one hand, I feel like it was a little bit difficult for, like, people had me in their heads as a physical sculptor, and so they would like not think about me as a concept artist for a little while. So it's almost like I had to work my way up from like props department when I first started working there, because I was one of those people, and I think there's many people have said the same thing to me, that just go, I want to work at Weta, I don't care if I'm sweeping the floors. And
yeah,
was basically how I started. I was like, I don't care what position you have open, I'm a sculptor, but I'll do whatever. And so they were taking people on, and I was, you know, fresh out of university, and so they just like stuck me in the props department, and I learned how to make molds and guns and stuff, which was a really cool experience, but it was a bit of a sidetrack from what I intended to do.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, fully. And so it was just one of those funny kind of sidetracks, and then I was able to get back onto track what I wanted to do when I learned all the digital, and now I just only use mainly Photoshop, Keyshop, and ZBrush, and even in the concept artwork that I do.
Do you have like a specific pipeline you follow when you're making something at Weta? Like whether it be collectibles or design?
Well, that's a good question, because they'd be extremely different from each other. Like they're like a totally different pipeline. Like if I was going to start a collectible, it would be completely different to starting a concept piece, because a collectible would literally be like 5 weeks or depending on the complexity of the piece, solidly on something. And then if I was to do a concept piece, it's like I had to try and get whatever done in a day.
Oh my god.
Like, yeah. So using ZBrush in that manner is like retraining your brain, because for any of you that do a lot of detail work, whether it's for gaming or collectibles or whatever it is, you kind of learn to you take your time and put in all the detail. But it's like I had to switch that off to do concept artwork and do only what was necessary to get nice lighting, to pop it in Keyshot, to then paint over it some more in Photoshop. So it's like not doing too much, because then you just waste time. And so you have to just do the basics of the shapes of what you need in ZBrush, and then light it in Keyshot and get some good reference so you can paint over it, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So that's I mean, that's what I would generally do for concept work. And I mean, heaps of reference. And one benefit definitely to working at workshop is just so many talented people that have their skill set are strong in certain places, and you can learn from just about everybody in the room. So that's a huge help. Yeah, you guys probably well know too.
Yeah, I definitely got that vibe, man. It's just everyone's so good, and even if they like their knowledge isn't like directly applicable to what it is that you're doing, they're probably knowledgeable in something else that is kind of like useful anyway, that could be applied to whatever it is that, you know, like applied in a roundabout way to whatever it is that you're working on.
Yeah.
Like there's just so many skilled people in different areas that, you know, there's just like there's knowledge everywhere, man, and there's always some like bit of useful tidbit kind of information that's, you know, coming from someplace, man. There's just so many legends in there. It's crazy.
And I suppose you never get used to, or like you can never just expect to show something you've done and have people go awesome.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, totally.
Yeah, because people have so many different, like you said, specific strengths. You can show a piece and somebody will like somebody who's amazing in composition will just be like, yeah, but this should be over here because it leads the eye over this way. Yeah, no, that's good, but you should do this. And then somebody who's like really amazing with anatomy will be like, oh yeah, but she doesn't look quite right. You need to put, you know. So you're always going to get feedback from somebody. So you never kind of like rest on your laurels that you're just going to show a piece and you have everybody be like amazing.
Yep, totally, man.
Yeah, which is a good thing. I sure as shit learned to take feedback while I was in that company. I remember being really like taking it really personally at first and thinking I sucked just because people were giving me heaps of feedback when I first started. And now I feel fairly impenetrable. And if you could tell me whatever you want about my stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, sweet.
Yeah, I remember when I was sculpting a snail, and I remember one person in particular was just like, dude, the shell doesn't sit like that. It actually sits like this. It's rotated off to the side, and it's got this little bit over here, and it's actually like, and I was like, huh? It was just like mind blown. He was like, the swirl actually doesn't go that way. It goes this way, and it goes that way because of and I was like, oh my god.
Mhm.
I'm such a student of like nature right now. You know what I mean? Like I approached it from this kind of like viewpoint of like, dude, I know what a snail looks like, man. I go, yeah, I got this. You know what I mean? But it was like, but it was like, no, this is a specific breed of snail. This is the
Yes.
way it works. This is how everything works, and it's just like schooled, got
Yep.
schooled, man. You know, this,
Totally.
yeah, yeah, and that kind of stuff is just, it's like you either have to kind of accept it or you just look like a dum dum. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it's not it's nobody is like nobody's like telling you those things to kind of like be like you suck.
Yes.
It's more like, hey, it's we it needs to be this thing. Like
We need to get
that's
it right.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It's
yeah.
more like the product itself and making that right rather
Mm,
than some kind of insult on your talent or whatever. And
yeah.
that's the whole. I think is such an important concept to surround yourself with experts in whatever they do. You know what I mean? As in
Mm,
like
mm,
show your stuff to fucking people that really know what they do in their niche part of the industry.
yep.
Like even like I think God, you guys, yeah, you were there. You worked on this, Troy. When we worked on those insects for there was the insect exhibit
Oh
that
yeah, yeah.
that what it did, yeah. And so, man, I mean, I have an interest in insects, but I'm by no means a friggin' expert. And like, I was sculpting a dragonfly, and I think it came back for like I don't know how many revisions because they had a guy whose job was literally he's a dragonfly fly expert. So that's what he does.
Mm,
And so
yeah.
he was like kept sending it back going nope the anal appendages are wrong they're slightly they should be slightly curved inwards and like you have them slightly curved for some other nope that's the wrong type of dragonfly and so it's like that whole becoming a temporary expert in whatever field you're working in
Mm.
or whatever your piece you're working on.
Yeah, yeah, that's it, man. I mean, like I was doing some not wasps, doing like a
Bees.
honeybee for
Yeah.
that, and it was just like, man, the microscopic kind of like level of scrutiny that was going on was just like, no, this actual plate in the exoskeleton doesn't have like edges like that. It's actually rounded and just oh my
Yep.
god, like nobody looks at a bee that close. You know what I mean? But
Yep.
but we have to.
Yep.
So it's like, man, you just see a whole different world when you have to kind of like examine your subject matter that closely
Totally.
and kind of like reproduce it. And it's like you said, man, like you had a dragonfly expert and we had like a bee expert, and it was
Yeah.
like these dudes, it's like their job is to look at bees or look at these insects under microscopes and like track and detail like the tiniest adjustments of like the patterning on the wing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if this kind of like tiny line on this mosaic looking like wing, if this line is not there, it's a different species.
Yep.
And all this kind of stuff. And it's just like, man, it's so insane.
Mm,
But to these people who are like, they want facts essentially. It's a museum, you know what I mean? We're not.
yeah.
It's like, hey, these things have to be right, and we can't just not do that, even though the average person would be just like, oh wow, it's a bee, or oh wow,
Yeah.
it's a dragonfly. It's kind of like we have to go beyond that.
You know what? And that's totally linked to even like how it is to work on collectibles for like a known IP or known
Mm.
like all the stuff work we're doing obviously for Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. It's like you don't cater towards necessarily the general audience that's just going to go, oh, that looks cool. You have to cater for the experts that are going to pick it apart. And so it's like, yeah, like you said, the general person will go, yeah, that's B.
Yeah.
But for the few people that are going to go, oh, no, that's the wrong species, that's what you don't want to get called out on. And it's the same with like complete and total Tolkien nerds, or and like I say that lovingly, but people who love Tolkien and love the films, and they'll be like, nope, his the embroidery on his coat there stops too early. It actually goes all the way down to the end of the coat. That's wrong.
Yep.
And it's like they literally do call you out on that stuff if you mess it up. So it's like I used to just like brush off those thoughts of I wonder if it's like that. Nobody will notice. And now if I ever have that thought of like nobody will notice, I'm like no 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 nope. I gotta follow that up because somebody will notice.
Oh, dude, totally. I think that's like a one rule to try to follow closely with whatever the IP is, especially if it's a big video game or film or even, you know, bugs. People, there's going to be people out there that are extremely passionate out there to the point where you couldn't even realize that they loved it so much. And when you mess those things up, it's almost like a, because people pay for it. You know, people spend, I mean, save so much money to have this thing, and they get it, and it's almost like a disappointing, like, oh, you know, because I've definitely had that happen to me, and I'm like, man, I like this piece, but this thing is wrong. No, ah.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, IPs are very tricky. You gotta get it just right.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the worst feeling is if you paid quite a bit for something and it's a subject matter like or IP like you said that you really love and you really care about and it's not right, then it's just like you get angry and you don't want to buy from that person anymore or that company. You know?
You totally. Oh man. Um, I feel like I had a question for you guys, but I already forgot. Someone was asking, what was that for nature program? The bugs you guys made was for the museum, correct?
Yes. Yeah. It's a oh god, Troy, do you remember the name of the actual exhibit?
I don't. It was a funny name. I
Yeah.
can't remember the name of the exhibit.
I can look it up. It was at
Bugs? Bugs?
it was
No.
it was at
No.
Takapa Museum, which is
Yeah.
in Wellington. But some of their exhibits that they do at Takapa actually end up traveling and going international. I'm not sure if that one will, but we worked on another really big exhibit called Gallipoli: The Scale of Our War, and that was really interesting. Actually, we made these huge characters that were like soldiers from World War One with intense detail, with like down to the pores and the little like peach fluff on their faces. You know, it
Oh, it
was
looks so good.
massive detail, and we actually used heaps of ZBrush for that. Sculpting we like had scans of people and then amped it up even more and reposed them and cut into like make them pump up the anatomy and then printed out big chunks of them and re-put them back together. It was a huge process, but so that was another exhibit that Weta Workshop worked on, and that one's actually traveling around the world. But I'm not sure if the bugs one is. Let's see. Just having a look. They really struggled with what to call it too. That's why I can't remember. There were so many possible titles that they went through for that bug exhibit.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
Is it just called Bug Lab? Jeez.
Maybe it was called Bug Lab.
Yeah. Crazy. Yep, they did like a big praying mantis and bees, spiders, dragonfly. We actually made like a zoetrope with a frog catching a dragonfly. So that's, I mean, one cool thing about working at Weta is I meant to specialize in the film industry, but I've ended up working on some really different kind of projects because Weta doesn't just do film; they do exhibitions and public art displays, TV, sometimes a little bit of games. They've done a little bit of game work for like concept design phase usually, and actually, yeah, other stuff done as well.
You're like, wait, yeah, yeah.
And then I was trying to remember if I could actually talk about it or not.
Always that tricky line, eh?
Yeah.
If any of you guys have any questions for Lindsay, by the way, feel free to just type it in the chat, and she'll maybe read it, I guess, possibly.
Yeah, I'll try and pay attention. I'm not good at multitasking. Suddenly, I have like a huge respect for you guys, you Troy and Layna, that you can actually sculpt and then talk and read the comments at the same time.
Dude, it's oh my god.
Oh, it's a skill.
Troy's like, I'm not gonna hide it.
But
Yeah.
I'm really good. I'm really good at it. So no, man, it's so difficult. It's really, really hard. I couldn't. I remember when I very first started streaming, and when I was looking at the chat box, even though there was like nobody in my stream, I was like almost completely just focused, and I would just stop working so I can just like sit there and talk. I'd just be like, but then I'd be at the end of the stream, I'd be like, dude, I did like 10 minutes of work. Like, what the hell? Yeah, so I just had to kind of like force myself into working, and then kind of like only maybe paying attention like 20% or something. It's a weird thing to try and balance out, and it's taken a really long time.
Yeah, God, I can imagine. Because,
Yeah.
like, normally, even just listening to you guys on stream, because every once in a while I'll check your stream on when I'm at work and listen and, like, pipe up in the chat every now and again, and I'm like, that's not hard. And then,
Oh, dude.
when you're actually speaking and trying to, and running this stream, I'm sure. God, dealing with all the technical difficulties. So, anyway,
And then like,
props to you.
Yep. Thank you.
Troy knows how to take a compliment. I like that.
She's saying that I don't know how to take a compliment, so it's okay. I get it, Lindsay. It's alright.
No. You know why I said that specifically, Layna? You will know this because Andrew. Oh, I wonder if he's listening. Andrew is terrible at taking compliments.
Aww. What does he do when someone compliments him? What does he do?
He won't take them, and he gets all like looks away and goes no, and like he won't take compliments. So,
I don't want that.
that's why I was comparing Troy, because like slight doppelgangers, those two. And
They look exactly the same for the most part.
No, Andrew's like a more handsome version.
you
Got
guys
a
both-
got a bit of beard.
Oh my goodness, you too.
It's funny. I'm like sorely lacking a cup of tea.
Ooh.
Do you want me to make you a cup of tea while I'm streaming right now?
I was just throwing out a jab. It's right. I'll sort that out.
We made a joke last time that Troy likes to ask me to make him teas at the most inconvenient times.
That's terrible, man.
Hinting at it. My body is lacking in tea. The tea to blood ratio is like dangerously low.
I can make you a cup of tea. You two can talk, and I'll go make you one.
No way, man. No way. I was just being silly.
I think we do have a question. Was Lindsay living in New Zealand before working at Weta?
Yes, but actually for the strict purpose of trying to get a job at Weta. So, I moved to New Zealand in 2005, and I didn't get the job at Weta until 2007. So actually, I mean, I really love Wellington and New Zealand anyway. So I was happily just kind of trying to do my own work and doing lots of little maquette sculpts, and working at like a catering company at the time. And before I actually got the job, because they have like they'll have a period of hiring on quite a lot of people for a really big project. And at the time, I got hired on because they were crewing up for Avatar. And so, so I was already living in Wellington when I got the job, but I basically did come here to try and get the job there. It was just hard because I was straight out of university and had, no experience prior to that. So, which is why it's kind of strange that I built up all of my experience while working there, which is, I know, not helpful to some people when they're like trying to get workplaces.
Yeah, it seems like times have changed a little bit, in regards to like how to properly do this and that to get a job that you want in the industry.
Yeah.
From your experience and how you did get your job at Weta, do you have any advice for people who would and do want to work at Weta after everything that you've been through?
That's a
Oh.
complicated question.
Oh, if it's too complicated, you don't have to answer.
No, it's good.
Lindsay has been thrown under the bus.
That's not what I meant.
Chucked under the bus. No, it's good. It's I've come to a place where I would encourage anybody to, if they want to work at a place, do whatever they can to go try and work there, because you're going to upskill in the process of trying to get the job there. And even if it turns out not to be the dream job you hoped for, you're going to learn heaps. And so you will absolutely learn from the people you're around. You'll have, I mean, and this sounds so dicky saying this, but like the whole school of hard knocks, like even like if it's really rough, you're gonna be just getting stronger and stronger at whatever it is, at getting better. You know, putting your head down, working hard, taking feedback. And so, you know, it may not be the end of the line that you hoped it would be, because that was my experience. It's like, I think there's probably plenty of people who have some kind of company that they think, oh, if I could just get the job there, then I'll be happy forever, you know, and I'll stay there. But you know, I think everybody has the experience of, you know, big companies are flawed, man. And so, you know, there's going to be real difficulties, and you may grow so much as an artist that you don't want the constraints of working at a place like that anymore, or you want to do your own work, or you want to pursue your own IP, or you know, or you know, what Layna and Troy are doing, making their own company, have done. And so it's like, I think the whole process is a positive thing. So I wouldn't discourage somebody from trying to get a job there, you know, ever. Even though, you know, even if I think it's fairly flawed, because that's why I work part time at Weta, because I've started, you know, freelancing and doing some of my, you know, planning to take the latter part of this year to work on our own IP, because it's like, it's gotten to that point where it's like, I have the confidence now and the desire and the drive to want to work on my own stuff. But I feel like it's invaluable to learn to work with other people in really hard situations, and honing your skills through working on stuff that you may not even be that into. So I think it's all a really positive experience. And if somebody wants to work somewhere, that they go for it, absolutely 100%. Give it everything they've got. And but you know, don't be surprised if at some point you go, oh, this isn't everything I hoped it would be.
You know what? I think that's an important thing to touch on. I think because especially for you guys, and especially for like Troy, you and your group of industry veterans, in my eyes, you guys have been at so many companies and gone through so many experiences. I bet you've definitely gone through that feeling of, yes, I'm at this place and I'm so excited, and then you eventually go, oh, maybe not.
Totally.
Yep.
And
definitely.
I don't think there's many companies in the world that people have worked for years and years. Like, I mean, big companies, whether it's film or gaming or whatnot. There's probably very few that people are just like, fuck yeah, it's amazing, I'm staying here forever. You know?
Yep.
I don't know of many. Nah, I could be wrong.
Do you?
Yeah. If anything, I think the people at the company have been responsible for keeping people around for longer than they probably should have been, because of it almost becomes a little bit like family, you know what I mean? Like you start to like know these people so well after a specific amount of time, and it becomes really, really hard to leave, like regardless of whether the company itself is awesome or whether it's horrible. Like it kind of like the relationships that you build there almost like overshadow whatever else is going on. So you kind of like, it's this really weird kind of like tricky thing that you can kind of, you can almost like overlook whether a company is like shitty, because the people that you are there with are just like, they make it okay, so you kind of like put up with it together, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That can totally happen. That's I've definitely experienced that in my past, that's for sure.
Dude, 100%. And like that's exactly, you know, what my experience as well. You get so, I mean, you spend that long anywhere, you're going to absolutely form relationships, have this comfortable habit of, you know, what you do, you come to your desk, even like if the, if you don't feel like you're getting to a point where you don't feel like you're growing, or you're not being treated well as a worker, but the people you work with, if it, like you said, they feel like a family, it's pretty damn hard to rip yourself away from that.
Yeah,
which is,
yeah.
Which is why you have to end up getting a pretty strong drive to creative drive, you know. And maybe some people, that's what they want to do, is just be, a really helpful cog in the machine, and they get heaps from it and from doing it, and that's totally okay. I just think that for most creatives, there's got to be some way that you're scratching your itch for your own art, your own creativity is what's going to keep you sane. Because I remember getting that advice from a couple of absolute legends really early on, at my time at Weta. And one was Ian McKay, when he came to see us at Weta, and he said that 100%, the only thing that's going to keep you sane while working on these big jobs is making sure that you're putting time into your own work as well, and you make sure you've got something that you're doing on the side, even if you're too busy to do much of it, even if you just so you have it, you know.
Would you say that your experiences, whether it be really positive or really negative, have pushed you to where you are today, to make the decision to slowly branch out more into freelance? Like, would you, or do you think that if that had never happened, you would still be at a specific company?
I heard 75% of that.
Oh, is it because of the robot?
Oh yeah. Now you're not a robot. So you were for a second. Now you're not.
Wow.
Sorry. So if I hadn't had the experience, the maybe some of the negative experiences, would I not have left?
Oh, well, more of like almost. Are you overall like glad the positive and negatives happened and ending up where you are now? Like, do you feel in a better spot as a creative?
Yeah. No, that's exactly why I would say that I encourage people to like go after whatever company they want to work at, even if I think, deep down, that's not going to be what makes them happy. And it's that whole, God, I always keep this in the back of my head, the whole I don't know if you guys ever saw, I saw this really awesome interview with Matt Damon, where he was Matt Damon was talking about getting an Oscar at such a young age, because God, what was he? He was like in his mid-20s when he got his first Oscar for that film they made. And he said that, he remembers the night really clearly at the Academy Awards, and he got it and took it home, and he put it on the coffee table, and he's, mid-20s, and he looks at it and he was like, oh, is this all there is? Was that it? And it was like, you realize you're always going towards something, you're setting yourself some kind of goal, but it's about I mean, this is so cheesy, it's the journey, not the end point kind of thing. But that's how it is. I feel like working at some of these, at the big well-known companies, is, the journey, or the work you and the kind of how much you grow in the process of trying to get there is what's going to benefit you in the end, actually. It's not the award, it's not the working for the company, or getting upheld as or getting your fucking, I don't know, this is very much my opinion, but rather than, it's not always getting top row or getting some kind of accolades. It's actually, continually growing to where you've got so much creativity overspilling that you want to just, put time into your own stuff and see what you can make. And because it's like, and you guys are just, again, a perfect example of that, of, you've got so much you want to do, and so you make your own company. That's what you guys do. You make that shit, which is and I mean, the goal, I think, is to try and be able to do that and make money from it for everybody. Feed the machine.
Yeah,
Yeah. Doing the thing, man.
just do the
Doing
thing.
Yeah.
Just do the thing.
We had a question up above that I completely missed. Sorry to wait, where was it? Where was it? What? Oh,
Oh, that's brilliant. Sorry, Gretchkovic totally said it better than I did. He totally saw the bit that I was talking about with Matt Damon. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Layna.
no, it's fine.
Um,
Can I
he
get
was
a?
spot on, and he said that Matt Damon, when he was on the Graham Norton show, he said that he said that he's glad because he got it when he was young because he wasn't chasing it his whole life. He said if he would have been really good at it, if he was an old man who'd been chasing getting an Academy Award or an Oscar his whole life and then got it and went, this is hollow. You know, so he got that thing at such a young age and was able to see that that was not the end goal. And so, like, he felt like he learned the lesson really early instead of somebody who's been chasing getting an Oscar their whole life. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but yeah, just getting having that lesson of seeing, okay, this isn't what's going to fulfill me. I have to, like, actually what fulfills me is in myself. It is what the kind of work I'm outputting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, someone recently kind of like disagreed with me on a Twitter feed, and one of the comments kind of alluded to me having nothing left to prove because I'd been in this industry for so long, or I didn't need to prove myself anymore. I completely disagree with that, man. I'm like, dude, I feel like there is no end to like proving to myself that I still have shit to do and I still have shit to learn, and it's not that I'm like trying to put myself out there in a way that is just like I'm better than you guys. It's more like me going, dude, I need to keep learning and I need to keep growing. So of course I'm going to keep posting my work, and of course I'm going to keep like putting it out there because I still have shit to do, man. Like I still have so many things to learn. You know, it goes back to like the snail thing that, you know, when I just kind of brought back earlier. It's like that shit can happen like every single day, man. Like I think the moment that anybody is just like, I've got nothing left to prove, it's like, well then why are you doing that thing? You know, like why are you doing that then? If your mindset is already like you're the best, like why do it? You may as well like do something else, man. Like I don't know.
No, I
At least
totally agree.
at least that's where I come from. Like I feel like I still have every like ounce of stuff to prove. Like just like I felt like when I was a student, man. I still feel the same way. Like I don't feel like I've kind of like that has kind of like gone away. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I
Totally.
still feel like the noob.
Yep.
Yeah, that really kind of like it kind of like out of everything that we kind of like went over, that was kind of the most thing that pressed my buttons the most. Was just like, dude, I will never think that way. I would never adhere to that kind of like line of thinking. I can't. I still feel like I have everything to prove, man.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, when you say prove, and I suppose that's the difference. I suppose when you're focused on proving to other people that you're good enough is like a difference than proving to yourself that you're still worthy of doing this. You know what I mean?
Totally. That's
so
it.
whether or not you're trying to prove to other people or prove to yourself is a massive difference, and it's hard to kind of get to that place, but of actually trying to prove to yourself rather than others, because I think that's the dangerous the spot that I feel like I learned heaps from at Weta is that I really was overly focused on proving to others that I belonged there, or that I could do work that was good enough to, you know, be within that building. And so it was like this awareness and wanting to prove to my colleagues or prove to my bosses or whoever. And actually I didn't do my best work when that's how I was thinking.
Yep.
And so like I mean, since I've come back and doing part-time even just recently, I feel like very much stronger in the way of thinking that, you know, I want to fulfill this brief for the so I'm going to do the best possible thing for this project. So like, you know, if they need a prop that, you know, and they give me the brief and it has to fulfill these needs, I'm going to do the best version of that I can, and then just send it off. And it's like, I don't care how people respond to it. If it was helpful for the project and moves it forward, awesome. you know, and like actually I'm doing way better work, because if you just constantly attach it to your ego, of you know, of will people think I'm good enough after I do this, I just think it holds you back in your work.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Basically it, man. That pretty much sums it up. It's like a this odd kind of quest to kind of like um, even like satisfy my own like needs, or the quest that I've kind of like set up for myself.
Mm,
It's like even trying to get to that is like that's the battle. You know what I mean? It's like I'm fighting myself to
mm,
get there. I'm not, I don't care what happens around. Like what happens after I put the thing out there is not as important to me as like doing the thing and getting it to the point of putting it out there.
mm.
It's like it really, even though it can be like a kind of like a tense moment, you know what I mean? Especially if you've been working on something for a really long time, it's a big project, or it's like an IP and you're about to like roll it out. Of course, you're like, oh shit, you know, is this going to be cool? Is everybody
Yeah.
gonna? But it's that kind of like pales in comparison to like the pressure that I would put on myself to produce the work, or like do the IP
Mm,
justice, or like, you know, to,
mm.
to, to like put it out there the way that I intended it, and does it match the expectations I had in like my mind? Does this look like how I envisioned it? Like,
Yeah.
you know, all those kinds of things. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into it, but the whole gist of it is that I feel like that I'm still constantly fighting myself, you know,
Mm.
way harder than, you know, I would ever worry about what else, like, I mean, sorry, like what somebody else thinks of what I'm doing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Totally.
Mm.
And I suppose that's what struck me when you were talking just now is, yeah, of course, you're always going to get those like butterflies, or thinking, oh, how's this going to be received?
Mm.
But as long as that's not predominant in your head when you're making the thing, you know?
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Yeah, because you know, if that's a constant in your head while you're making it, oh, will people like this? That, I think that's gonna change what you make. Whereas,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, when you release it, you're gonna you want it to be liked. You want to see how people are gonna receive it. But
Mm.
like that's why I inherently struggle with I have a constant battle with art and social media in my head, with the idea of putting up things for likes, because it's sometimes like counterintuitive. Sometimes things that are like not on trend but are completely new, like everybody's afraid to like it.
Mm, yeah.
And like it becomes this weird game of, oh well, nobody else I know is liking it, so I shouldn't. And then like and so like you see some amazing stuff by people that aren't super well known, that are, or I mean, even if they are, if it's really like, oh fuck, I haven't seen anything like that before, and
Mm.
then like it's not on trend, so it's not highly liked, and so people think, oh well, that wasn't popular. And so
Mm.
I struggle with that whole aspect of art and social media, that it can kind of tend to mainstream everything, you know?
Yep.
Man,
Yeah,
social
totally.
media is such a beast right now, especially if you're trying to just be um, creative on your own 2 feet. You know what I mean? Trying to figure out how that system works, because it seems like as the longer time has gone on, the idea of being special on your own for doing this cool thing was sort of rare. And if you did it, everyone knew who you were. But now there's so many amazing artists and amazing sculptors and amazing traditional and amazing painters, and it's just really saturated. How do you like, how do you do the thing? You know,
Mm,
versus how do I actually do the thing when I have a full-time job, and then it's like, how do I do the thing and succeed?
yeah.
And I can't even imagine like being a student right now. It
No,
was already
totally.
tough when I was a student, and it's been a few years now, and trying to succeed as a student and get a job, how the industry is and how many artists there are, must be so difficult right now.
God.
Blows my mind.
Honestly, I really like, that's one of those things where I can't almost not relate. Like, I feel like there's so much saturation right now. Like, it would be so hard, like figuring out a way to, you know, stand out or whatnot, you know.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
just yeah, it's hard. I've seen it. It feels like I've seen the industry change so much, even in the time I've been in it, which is not that long, obviously, you know, number of years, but still, that's not that long. So it's like, yeah, it's hard. That's why I think when I talk about like how I got into the industry, it's not that helpful because I sort of just like desperately did whatever I could and took whatever role I could, and
I think
really
that's still something good to take from that. I think still having that mentality of I really want to do this thing. I'm gonna do anything I can.
yeah,
Um, I I may be like overstepping, but I don't know if that happens that much anymore.
yeah,
It
right,
I'm sure it does with some people, but maybe there's just so much choice and so many options and so many like confusion up to what you should and shouldn't be doing as an artist. It's hard to go, I'm going to do this thing, I'm going to do anything it takes to do the thing because there's so many
yeah,
questions it comes with now. So I think
mm,
there's a lot of respect in hearing that you were like, yeah, I really want to work at Weta, so I'm going to do anything I can.
yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, yeah, good point. Yeah, I suppose that's true. Just as far as actually getting something that you know that you care enough about or want to do enough to sort of do whatever you can to get it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Quick sidetrack. There was a question from can I get a cringe fist? He says, I tried printing a sculpt I made recently for the first time, and I had so much trouble with scarring from support structures. Could you explain how you get the clean results with your prints?
Oh,
Oh man, there's so much that goes into that. You know, it can actually come down to whoever's working with your figure, um,
mm,
because you know it's certain depending on the print programs, the print software, depending on the printer, it's like a whole bunch of different kind of supports. It could be like supports everywhere. It could be huge cleanup. It could be fairly minimal. But man, there's lots of sanding that's got to be done. There's lots of kind of like well, people can really finely kind of like sandblast um, the figures depending on where they're coming from and who you got them kind of like printed by, and then they could be like sandpapered, really finely sandpapered afterwards to try and clean that stuff up. Sometimes if it's like really bad, man, it has to be like filled in again and it's sandpapered, and there's actually there's a lot of work that goes in, man. We are not at a place where it's just like here's the print and it's just this finished like 100% quality thing just standing there in its pose. It just doesn't work like that. Um, so yeah, there's kind of lots that goes into getting a clean mold cast or even just print.
mm.
Yep.
I was just reading Gretchkovitz.
Yep,
Uh,
go for it.
no, no, no. I was just gonna ask further, unless you guys know of that. It sounds really interesting. The free deaths thing. Have
Never
you
heard
guys
of
heard
it.
of that?
No.
No, I haven't heard.
Right. Sounds interesting. I'd almost want him to explain further.
I'm sorry, I'm reading all the um, questions. Um, Oh, Revla said who's talking. Again, for anyone popping in and they're like, oh, what the heck is going on? I'm Layna. I'm the one digitally sculpting at the moment, working on Chibi Remi-7, even though it's been a long time. She's got a lot of updates and edits to be done since we've been gone for so long. Down below is Troy, aka Hazardous Arts. He's working on some other stuff right now, and he also streams on the Pixelogic channel. And we have a guest speaker today. Her name is Lindsay Crummett, and she's really, really cool. And she also digitally sculpts. We figured we'd have a bit of a chat with you guys. So that is the random other female speaking that you guys might be confused about.
Random.
Random girl, I don't know how she got on here.
I don't know where her voice is coming from. We're a little scared.
Where did we leave off? I don't even know what we're. This actually feels pretty good because I'm able to like pay attention to what I'm working on.
Good one. I've just started sculpting a little bit myself, but I'm still looking at the questions. I'm gonna see if I can sculpt and talk at the same time, like you guys have mastered.
No, sometimes it's really tough. Sometimes at the end of 4 hours, we're like, oh my god, I just did nothing.
Yeah. There is no mastery to be found here.
One second, guys. I'm gonna make another post. Okay. The voice of Troy's beard.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, that's good call. Again, reading Dutchvik's talking about the um 3 deaths thing. So something in your head changing when it goes on paper, changing when it goes into sculpt. And I think that's kind of interesting too. It'd be cool to hear from you guys who are Troy and Layna, who are strictly more 3D, because I've been actually drawing longer than I've been sculpting in life, and so sometimes I'll get something really loose and awesome and simplistic, or something that I really love in a quick drawing, and then I'll use that as a basis for when I sculpt, and actually my stuff can end up being stronger that way. Because there was something loose in the gestural drawing that I'm able to keep referring to while I'm sculpting. But that's just me. And I know that's not exactly what Krivik is talking about. He's talking about how the idea changes, and I find that super frustrating. Just because, I mean, like you were saying, Troy, like to try and get the thing that's in your head is the goal.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
how close can you actually get to what was in your head? And it changes so much in the process.
It's almost as if like the actual process of creating it like messes with it.
Yep.
It's like it like morphs the idea. Yeah, it's a little bit annoying sometimes, but yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like I don't know who said it, and I don't know where this came from, but I know it was somebody that has done some really great things or made some big impacts. It was like, nah, I'm not even gonna like spend time trying to figure out who it was. But he said something. he said something along the lines of like, when he was in that initial like phase of trying to like come up with an idea and like trying to build it, he kept it completely to himself, and he was like, I just need to download all of this first. Like I need to get it the way that I want it, even if it's just words or little like stick figure drawings. I need to put it all down, and it has to be kind of like, roughly into this thing the way that I intended it to be. And once it's at that point, then I can like open it out to people and be like, okay, so here's the thing, like here's what I want to move forward with, rather than not having any of that and sitting down with people immediately and being like, hey guys, I want to do this thing, because it never ever kind of like comes. You don't have like the weaponry to like show someone and give them like this at least bare minimum kind of basic like concept and idea of what it is that you were working on, because if there's a room full of people and you say, oh man, I want, the biggest baddest kind of like monster that's like Godzilla, but it's going to be crossed between like a dinosaur and a dragon, but it's going to be huge and city sized. I mean, like, you could say that in a room, and there could be 10 designers in there, and they will all be like, wow, that is like a billion designs. It could be anything. You know what I mean? It could be literally anything at that point. So it's just kind of an idea about why words are just kind of like almost lost, I guess, unless there is something, you've taken the time to kind of like narrow it right down and have a better idea of exactly what it is that you want, even if it's just some real simple basic references and drawings and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It just helps so much like solidify the thing that you are looking for, as opposed to just giant kind of nebulous sweeping kind of statements.
Yeah. Totally, man. And it's like when you do start to make something for it, how you can affect your own brain. Like you're now focused on with the thing you've made, whether it's sculpted or drawn or whatever. Yeah, and you had it in your head, and you put something on paper or on the screen or whatnot, and then you're focusing on that. It's like the original vision of what you had before, sort of you lose. It kind of fades a bit, and you're more focused on what's in front of you. And I've done that so many times where I'll end up with a thing, and it's like, yeah, the product turned out okay, but then I go back to really thinking what I initially intended. I'm like, fuck, that's not even close, man. And it's, I find that's where I find lots of reference helpful. I use Pinterest like crazy, like, and even from some of my own projects, I have just like massive folders for those projects of. So like if you look throughout the folder, you get a feel for what I'm after, and I can get a strong feel. I keep going back to those photos of actual things, whether they're actual cultures, actual creatures, animals or whatnot, and Nat Geo or whatnot. And I keep going back to those, and I go, okay, no, I remember what I initially wanted. So but that's right. You have to have like that place that you keep going back to, and it's like almost like for people making films, it's like a director has to have the same thing. A director has to have an incredibly strong vision of something that doesn't exist yet, but how to keep the tone of that the same throughout the film, or else it's just a bunch of mismatched shit that doesn't look like one piece, And it's and that's like same thing for a sculpt. It's or even a series of sculpts, to keep that vision and so finding whatever reference or writing or whatever it is that you've got that keeps reminding you what that tone or that the initial vision is. You can just lose it.
yeah, totally, man.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, I don't know how many times we've done that. When we're like working with our friends on something we want to do, and we have all these ideas, and we're like, plow, 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 and then we have something, and then we like sidetrack because of all these like other ideas that we could do, and then we start working on it, and then we forget, and you have to go back to the beginning of your references. You're like, okay, no, it's like this. It's so easy to just like go so out of where you were supposed to be.
Yeah. Get carried away.
Every time.
Yeah. Totally. Read any comments in a little while.
I mean, if anyone's able to answer this question, I was hoping there was some mods from Pixelogic in here to answer, because I know some people want to understand what you guys use at Pixelogic as far as computers go. But Anthony is asking, do you use a special PC, or can you work from a desktop? I was told having a special system with a Quadro or Firestream GPUs and a quad-core or better CPU is the best way to work on projects, which is aimed at Pixelogic. But I mean, we could tell you what we use for computer, but I don't know if it's what you're looking for. Like, Troy, what do you use to run all your projects?
Yeah, you know what? I don't really think it matters too much. That sounds like you've got. Look, even Bristlebanes has said that should easily run. It's like, I don't think you need to worry too much about it, because you can do, based on what you've written there, you could do a lot with that. And it's only really if you're working on one single subtool, and that has like a couple million, then on most computers it's going to start like chugging. But what you need to do is just start breaking down those subtools and you can probably have 5 or 6 subtools that have 500,000 each, and it will be running perfectly fine. But if you have one subtool that's like millions and millions, this shit's gonna start slowing down, man, like real fast. So just need to be a little bit smarter with breaking down your subtools and trying to work more efficiently in that way. Turn things on and off and all that kind of stuff. Um, I'm currently working on a figure that's maybe like 48 or 50 million or something in total, but I only ever turn on the entire figure for very small amounts of time. I don't like turn the whole figure on, all like 400 subtools of it, and just kind of work on one of those subtools while all the rest are visible. I just a kind of like a silly way to work. I'd only work on one tiny section at a time, so it's quick and all that.
Then just out of curiosity, because I'm curious as well, Kyle, do you guys generally have like a setup for you guys, especially because you all are the ones, testing and making and like perfecting ZBrush. Is there something that you find works the best with ZBrush? Like who better to ask, you know what I mean? And same as Troy was saying, by the way, I use a I'm actually using Troy's computer hand me down,
Mm,
and ZBrush is working pretty damn good.
mm,
It's quite an old computer, and like you said, I think more than what your computer setup is, and it all is depending on what you're doing as a project. Um, but being really efficient in your setup with your whatever your project is in ZBrush, whether it is like making sure that you have lower subdivision levels or not everything is super dynamesh, so your ZBrush subtool like tool is chugging. Just being smart about all of your assets in your project will
Mm-hmm.
help a lot, regardless of the computer you have.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's another thing too. I used to have a bad habit of not turning off Dynamesh when I was working, and sometimes you'd just be randomly working, and then your project would start to slow down, and before you realize it, like half of your subtools are Dynameshed. I did that a lot back in the
oh, dude.
day.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, man. All of those things, every single thing that you leave on just adds up. It could be like layers, it could be you've done like some surface noise or anything like that, and every single thing that you leave on that subtool that's like hidden way, in amongst the 100 subtools that you've got, every time you do that to a subtool, it's like slowing it down just that little bit, man, and it just multiplies and multiplies. So if you I guarantee if you keep it clean, you'll be able to get tons out of your computer, man, even if it's really old.
mm-hmm. Funny how you kind of learn a lot of those tricks by necessity when
Mm.
your computer starts to just not deal.
Mhm.
Like
Oh, dude.
it would always get that way towards the end of a collectible for me, where like
Oh, yeah.
you got all the subtools and like you have to like it's literally like juggling about okay like what can I keep, what else can I turn off while I work on this part.
Yep.
Oh
It just
God, yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, the good thing is that, to be honest, I mean, before ZBrush, there was nothing that could do this. There was
totally
nothing that could like handle this many polygons
totally.
and be kind of like edited at the same time. And it's like it's weird because I feel like it was such a huge jump that that everybody, or at least all the artists that I know, or that I remember when ZBrush first came out, it was like, oh shit, all of our computers suck now. You know what I mean? Like it was like, oh man, we can do so much with this. Now we need faster computers, and it was like that for like a little while. But now I feel like, dude, we've got, for the most part, we're kind of like, um, we can pretty much achieve anything that we want to achieve on a fairly decent machine, man. Like unless you're trying to like really really get down to kind of like minute intricacies of like skin pore detail and like all of that kind of stuff, then of course if you're doing like the extreme limits of you know, of anything really, you're gonna need some super grunt. But otherwise, now, man, you can, with a mildly kind of like average PC, you should be able to bang out just about anything that would be comparable to, you know, a lot of the art that you would see up on like Top Pro and all the, you know, big famous pieces, or anything that would be used in production can be kind of like cranked out on a fairly decent machine. Doesn't need to be like, you know, a $20,000 workstation or some shit like that.
Totes.
Do you feel like you can still run things like Photoshop, Maya, and ZBrush all at the same time with your setup?
With mine, yeah. I mean, I don't typically have Max and ZBrush open at the same time, but I've almost always got like a ZBrush. I might have Keyshot open because I'm using the ZBrush Keyshot bridge.
Yeah.
So I'll have ZBrush Keyshot and then Photoshop open at the same time, and I seem to be doing okay.
Mm.
If stuff starts slowing down or whatever, then I'll always kind of, you know, my ultimate setup would be to have to essentially have Keyshot running at all times, rendering just in the background, just doing its thing on its own monitor off to the side.
Yeah.
So that I'm just constantly hitting, like I'll be sculpting something and then I'll just hit Shift R and it will fire it across to Keyshot, and I'll just look at it so I can really see the effects that I'm kind of like having on the sculpture, you know, in like a good kind of like a you know, realistic lighting kind of setup.
Mm.
Um, yeah, man, that's, but I don't really do that because you know, having the I forget what it's called, but like the real time rendering thing going constantly is, it's cool for when I'm like just starting a sculpture, but once you get into like, you know, 50, 60 million, and you're kind of like lagging on your, you know, you're starting to really lag the computer at that point. So yeah, that sucks. I'd like to have a grunty enough machine to have all the things.
I want to just point something out real quick. A really awesome new thing in the updated ZBrush R8. You know, every time in R7 when you made an extract and you were still selected on your old subtool, then you had to like clear the mask, then go into the new extracted subtool that was at the bottom?
Yep.
That doesn't happen anymore.
Really?
Yes, it's so sweet.
Nice.
It's like automatically on your extracted subtool. Good job, guys.
Nice. It's the little things that matter. They add up.
You know what? I figured it out. The headphones go on and off when they're plugged in.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
When
Yeah,
they go on and off when?
When so they're wireless, so you have to connect them to the computer via USB to charge.
Oh.
And I've had them unplugged for the majority of the stream until it started beeping, and I plugged it in, and it started to turn off. Figured it out.
Nice. You're winning over machines. Ah, toes. Horrible.
I always want to work on toes, but I end up just covering them with like stockies or stockings or shoes. I think we all do.
Shoes or booties.
No one goes barefoot. No one has toes.
Yeah. No one wants to look at those. Oh, well, some people might. Some people have foot fetishes.
Some people like toes.
A lot.
I think at some point I need to go back to the drawing board and just do some like studies. Toe studies, finger studies, nose studies, all the studies of the studies.
Dude, I've just totally been thrown headlong back into like studying anatomy really hard again.
Oh yeah.
Like depending on what your job is, sometimes you have to, either take whatever shortcuts available to you, or even when I was working practically with clay, they would give you like a base, like a face that you're sculpting the prosthetic onto. So you don't sculpt the whole head yourself. You sculpt the prosthetic that goes onto the face, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so then over time, it's like, shit, I haven't actually sculpted a whole head and the shape of the skull and everything like that with all the proportions in a long time. I suck at that. And so it's the same thing where like I'll start with like at work I've been having to start with other meshes a lot and not sculpt things from scratch, and like and you get out of practice, man. I was so out of practice. I started this sculpt that I'm doing currently that I had to do heaps of it from scratch. I'm like, okay, this is good. I'm going back to the drawing board.
Oh man. Yep, I usually use base meshes for the most part, and then when I start a new project, I try to improve the anatomy a little bit every time. But I guarantee you, if I just sat down and was like, okay, I'll do a head sculpt, that'll show me how far behind I am.
Yeah.
And I've been just not doing it because I know what I'm going to expect, and it's going to be total and utter horribleness. Because it's already hard enough when you have a base mesh to start with, it's already going to take time.
Yeah, fully. Whoops.
So since going a bit part-time with Weta and doing some freelance, what kind of things have you been working on?
That was the one thing that I like realized before I started the conversation that I should have found out if I can talk about.
Oh,
But
you can just like walk around.
Say very generally that like I'm working or doing some characters for a video game, which is just the high poly part because I have no fucking experience, and I'm like I said, because I started off practically and then used ZBrush for things mostly like collectibles or concept art. I'm really I'm total shit with topology, and like I only do high poly stuff, so I have to preface that. And then I'm doing some high poly of some characters for a video game, but like really enjoying it, just getting to make some cool characters, but at my home office, which is very freeing, and then that gives me a little bit of time to work on my own stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done some odd like other little. I mean, that work is fairly consistent, like doing some of the video game characters. But I've been getting the odd job for like book covers and stuff like that, which is kind of cool. And it's very much like 3D 2D mashup, which I do a lot. Yeah, I've really been enjoying it, but learning how to like manage my own schedule after working at a company for 10 years, which is kind of like a rude awakening.
Oh God, yeah.
But I finally feel like I'm getting a bit of the hang of it, and really enjoying it, and so looking forward to taking some very specified set aside time to work up some of our own IPs, or like which is really exciting because I've been doing some writing for them, and we've got all these like story ideas set to go, and we just need to Andrew and I want to create some content for. So it's like it's exciting to be nearing the stage where I can make some artwork for my own stories.
That's awesome.
We'll see where it goes, but you got to jump in, got to dive in and give it a go.
I think that's always very exciting. I get excited to see when other people branch out outside of like their full-time job and get to see who they are as a person and as an artist and what they enjoy doing.
Yeah.
So, I'm really excited to see that from you guys. Like, super stoked.
Yay. Awesome, thanks.
You're welcome.
A little bit of the Underlord stuff. That's been fun.
Yeah, tell us about that. Just to kind of recap, guys that don't know what Underlords is. If I butcher it, you guys can totally interrupt me and cut me off and be like, nope. But IHaztoys is doing like a bit of a collaboration with Christian Pierce and Andrew Baker and Lindsay Crummett and Ike and Monique, and we're doing this IP called Underlords. And Christian Pierce has designed these amazingly fun, what would you say, Lindsay, like
comical. They're basically useless kaiju. They're like,
yeah,
if they came to this city, they'd like try to destroy shit and just like bump it and kind of then like fall over. They're comically useless.
failed, yeah.
Yeah, failed kaiju.
They're really awesome, and oh gosh, you guys have done such cool things, and to really bring out the essence of the IP. And Christian Pierce made some bubblegum collector's cards, and it just looks so cool. I'm so excited. Andrew and Lindsay have done some really amazing sculpts of Christian Pierce's Underlords, and they look really good so far. And he did a quick paint over them, and woof, woof. I'm gonna go woof.
Basically, we only like threw out the idea to turn them into sculpts because we wanted them on our shelves.
Yeah.
Because Christian's drawings are so fucking awesome, and his also their statistics, their stats. Like he's a funny guy, so you can see they've got their powers and their weaknesses, and some of them like you get like a oh, I can't even think of any off the top of my head. But their statistics, it's almost like you collect their cards kind of thing to learn their statistics, and they're all just absolutely useless. And so like we loved them so much. We're like, man, these would be so brilliant. We just want to have them all lined up on our shelf. And so Andrew was like, yep, well, let's make them. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's where that came from.
Yeah, that's great, man. I hope we do more of those things, get more of those kinds of things going.
Because there's a lot of people out there with a lot of good ideas.
Yeah, do we have anything that we can drop and link so that people can see what we're talking about?
I don't know if there's. I don't actually know if Christian posted the pictures.
Did he not?
Like of the painted ones, the three painted prototypes.
No, he didn't do the painted ones. Just I think he might have shared the renders, but that you really see the prints. Damn it, Pierce. Okay.
Yeah, they look really awesome, and it's very comical. And I think they're gonna do really well. I think I mean, I'm not even a person that collects like the kind of cute little, not cute, but like what do you call them? Like collectible Godzilla. They're kind of like thick and they're old toys. But you guys, I would buy that. If I saw that online, I'd be like, those are freaking cute. They've like this mastered this in between of being cute and funny and sculpturally awesome and a little bit even more rugged, and the just got like a great essence of an idea to back it.
Yeah,
I like them.
That's a good point. Another reason why Christian was even making them was when he initially started making the line of them, he wanted to do very like old school Godzilla-esque kaiju that would most of them are supposed to look like they could have a man inside, like a man in a suit kind of thing.
Yep.
So they're very like old school Toho Godzilla inspired because Christian loves old school Toho Godzilla.
A Bristlebane is asking, do you guys have any plans at doing designer con with the kaiju?
Oh.
Yeah, that would be a question for Christian, eh?
Would be.
I mean, nothing that I know of, but I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure what the plans are.
We've got to get that solidified soon. We'll have to have a powwow.
You guys see that? Did you guys see that beautifulness? Anyone who's watching, I'm on the subtool I extracted. I love it. Nice thing.
Beautiful. Man, that I still always remember that extremely useful tip. Was it you that shared it, Troy, about clicking the little button, the little dot
yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
When I like realized that was there after you said that, I was like, oh.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a button, man.
Yeah, someone on
Until
the
like a few
stream.
years ago or something. It was like, boop. Oh my god.
Someone on the stream told us about it. I think Troy was working, and it was. I think it was even like John Brundell or something.
I think I was actually at Weta. It was your stream.
Oh,
I was at Weta at the time. So I was like listening to your stream, and then he was like, "Yeah, man, just press the button." And I was like, "What button?" And he was like, "It's like that little dot there." And I was like, "Huh?" Clicked it, did it again. I was like, "Dude, what is this? What is this button?"
I genuinely really enjoy that about our personal streams because a lot of people have taught us so many things that have actually improved our workflow. I think it was either Zervaze or Jesse, Eastbright. I think it was Eastbright that taught you the whole essence of, because you were working on Master M's hair, and it was like dynameshing, freezing the subdivision levels, and that whole like process to get it where you wanted without having so much cleanup. And then you taught me. Good times, man. It was awesome. I appreciate all of you guys.
Good times with tip sharing.
Oh yeah. Oh, those look awesome, Gretchkovic. That's so cool that you turn them into jewelry. God. I want to do that.
Oh, nice. Oh, wow, that's really cool.
We could just make jewelry. I'd just make a bunch of cats on like rings and stuff.
Oh, so I might have an opportunity to do that soon. Does anybody have any good suggestions? Because I was like, damn, I have an opportunity to get something potentially a small sculpt like cast in gold, like at a goldsmith. When I'm in Vienna, so I'm like, oh shit, I gotta do something cool. Yeah.
Chiba's face on a giant golden necklace. Yeah.
Like a little like bas relief chiba that like sits there.
Yeah.
Lindsay's like, oh, I don't know that. I don't know about that.
No, I'm considering it.
What would you want to do?
It's hard to say. I always go to my old my go-to. I'm like, dinosaur, dragon.
Ooh, cool. Oh, I don't think you wear rings very. You wear necklaces more than rings, eh?
Yeah, but yeah, I do.
Hmm. Dinosaur head. Hmm.
What I'm saying.
Come on. Come on, Z-Remesher. I'm Z-Remeshing something I dynamesh. I hope the gods of ZBrush it goes through. Oh, see, that's when you know you're trying to Z-Remesh that. Oh, it worked. Oh, no, it didn't.
Dude, if I wasn't clear enough before when you showed it, that's really cool, Gretchen. That piece looks awesome.
Oh, Zorazi, that's a cute idea.
Ooh.
I just make a bunch of cat stuff. Like cat butts or something like that. Giant cat butt ring, cat butt necklace.
Did you say cat butt?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a cat butt.
Uh,
You know, it would be cool. I think while you're waiting for something to Dynamesh or ZRemesh, there should be like, did you know, on the like on ZBrush, like a pop out. When you're waiting, you can learn some stuff. Just saying.
like, wait, you're basically describing like the load screen on a video game, huh?
Yeah, like that.
Did you know when you hold down L1 and square, it opens up the mini map and you can see your next quest objective? You're like, oh shit!
I learn a lot during load times.
Oh my god!
Or like lore about the game. You know what I mean? Yeah.
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 Do we have any like cookies or anything? Did you make those chocolate chip cookies that you said you were gonna make?
I said I should. Oh my god, I walked right into it.
See, you, a part of you right in that moment, you were like, "Oh shit! Did I really suggest that? Did I say that and I've forgotten?" Nah, we don't have anything. Eh? That sucks.
We've
I'll see if
got
I can rough up
chips.
something.
We have to go to the store.
Mm.
I can make some chocolate chip cookies later.
Nah, it's okay.
You really are saying no, you don't want chocolate chip cookies homemade, fresh, and hot today.
Dude, yeah, I will accept all the
Okay.
cookies at any time.
I was gonna say. That would be silly.
Cookies.
Our diet is fantastic at the moment.
I think apparently we ate some moldy bread this morning. I didn't know.
Oh God! Did you?
Yeah, it was kind of it was the bread that's been it's not visibly moldy, but it's got that this is a bad conversation.
I just made us toast.
Yeah, okay.
Whatever.
Hey, that's what it's like, man. You know, it's 2-minute noodles and moldy bread.
That's what you gotta do to survive. Alright. I, however, would like some sushi. Did you make the sushi you said you were going to make?
I never said I was gonna make sushi.
I think you did.
Troy said he was gonna make sushi.
Yeah, he did.
Whoa.
See, you can't like try and reverse that on me because I'm just like I would never say that.
That's why I asked.
I would just like disappear and make something and then present it. Like that crazy like burrito I made yesterday morning with the fried potato, the fried onions, and the scrambled eggs, and then the
That was actually really funny and weird. It was like his morning to make breakfast. And I was like, okay, go make breakfast then. And I was fully expecting like cereal, and he was gone for like 20 minutes. Like, what are you doing? Are we eating? What's happening? And then he came back with this epic burrito. I was proud.
Wow. Epic burrito? Wait, it wasn't a breakfast burrito, was it?
It was a breakfast burrito.
Oh God, we were just talking about that. Sorry,
Yep.
now I'm like just feeling like I'm talking to you guys on Skype while I'm working. I'm like, oh yeah, no.
No, it's good. This is how we usually chat up in our personal streams. So, and Pixelogic as well. We just have you as a guest to also talk about breakfast burritos. Now it's better.
Yep. Crystal Bane's got it. ZBrush pro tip: remember to check your bread's expiration date.
yeah.
And also another pro tip: if you just made your own delicious cup of like espresso coffee at home, and then you go to pour the milk in, also check the expiration date.
Oh, that's a
The
biggie.
worst
See,
ever.
milk for me is like a very touchy thing, man. If the milk gets anywhere near close to that date, I'm like, I'm done. I'm not. And it's dude, it's because I've done exactly what you've done
Uh-huh.
so many times,
Oh,
man. And when I was really, really young,
yeah.
like going to school kind of age, anywhere from like 8 until I was like 14 or something like that,
Yeah.
quite often I would be like, no, the milk, it's like it's gone bad. It smells like sour, like to my parents, and my
Yeah.
my parents would be just like, it's fine, and then just like even to prove it, my dad would like take a mouthful and be like, yummy kind of thing, and I'd be like, nah, 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 I'm not doing it, and I was forced to eat it, and I was just nah,
Wow.
I nah, nah,
That's harsh.
nah, not now that I'm like an adult, maybe I'm an adult, but now that I'm old enough to like have money to purchase my own milk, I'm like, no,
Old enough.
yeah, no.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's really sad. It is like the worst thing ever when you're like tired and you're expecting a coffee. And then, I mean, it's still terrible, but at least you don't have to taste it. But when you pour it and then like it comes out in chunks and you're like, "Oh,
Ah.
yeah. Yeah, no, I can't drink this now." Even though like part of me was thinking if I could strain it out, but no, no.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But
Lindsay.
like, okay, and also I have to preface this with, well, not preface this with post fist. So, um, with the fact that in New Zealand, thing like as opposed to if anybody, I know people listen from all over the world, but if anybody's in the states, I'm obviously originally from the states, but they put much less preservatives and shit over here. So it's like you have to really be careful and watch it because in the
Yeah.
states, like, yeah, the they have so much preservatives packed into stuff that you can like pretty much just eat it and you'll probably be
Yeah.
fine. But
Yeah. Here is totally not like that, eh?
yeah, but which I appreciate because then you just like, yeah, you don't, all the preservatives are not good for you, preserving your face.
Yeah, man.
It's a good tip.
Pro tip.
Pro tip. Right here on ZBrush Pixelogic.
I feel like you guys should maybe get like one of that little star that goes across the screen, ding 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 ding, and says "pro tip" every once in a while after you say
Dude! Lindsay coming up with the stream ideas.
it.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, Lindsay. It's
Yes. Oh, I can't wait.
gonna happen.
Just so people know that when so they don't miss the pro tips.
Oh, given that's gross.
Oh no, what? Oh, oh no. Creamier.
Wow. Yeah, man. That is some top tier. I've definitely indulged, or I've definitely kind of just gone, this doesn't. It's like I think this smells okay. I think it's right. You pour it out, and it's just like, no,
Oh,
that was a bad decision.
milk was a bad idea.
Ugh.
Oh no.
Never happens with soy milk though. Just saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we
not
use soy milk.
too.
Coconut milk, almond milk, soy milk.
Yep.
I don't remember the last time. We don't really use milk at all, actually.
Just for like mac and cheese.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
even.
barely use it. We only use it for our coffee.
Mm.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
We actually only use the vanilla soy milk. We have a normal flavored soy milk, and it does not make the coffee taste very good. But
No, it
the
doesn't.
vanilla soy milk makes tea and coffee taste so good.
Does it?
Yes, it's like seriously, it's super delicious. Because all you just need a tiny bit, and it's enough to kind of make it taste like that. Not as disgusting, but the creamer you
Yeah.
get in the States. Dude,
Yeah.
let me tell you about that. Okay, so I used to love creamer. Like old, like there was like the
Okay.
Irish cream creamer and the Oreo cookies creamer and the nutty, sensational like fall creamer and Christmas creamer and all. I was like, yeah, flavors, cool. Um, but since we came to New Zealand, that doesn't exist. There's no such thing as creamers. It's just like here's milk, here's maybe some like cream. I don't know, like half and half doesn't really exist, right? I haven't seen that here.
Yeah, but I think you get to a stage where that shit just tastes fake. Because I used to be on that bandwagon. I swear, I loved it. I was into the creamer, and like every time I go to the states, my brother-in-law and my brother, they're all just so into it, and it's like this bottle of chemicals, dude.
Dude, I never felt like that until we recently visited the States a few weeks ago, and
Yeah,
my mom had creamer, and I was kind of like, okay. And I tried it, and I was like,
yeah,
what? It was just like, I thought, I thought it was just gonna be like, I don't know, a splash of a taste, but it was like this overwhelming, like unnatural, not this is not coffee flavor. So the next morning I tried like a spoonful of it, and it was
yeah,
still like this overwhelming amount of sugar. I
yeah,
don't know. So
yeah,
I was really happy to come back to my boring like vanilla, soy milk, and sugar. Like one spoonful of like real sugar.
yeah, 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 totally.
I can understand why people in the States just drink black coffee.
Yeah,
Like I get it. Yeah.
the creamer.
That's my story. Boop-a-doop. What are you making for lunch, Troy? This is really important.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go out there and have a look.
I still, I'm not going grocery shopping yet since we
Maybe
got
some,
back.
maybe some like rice and egg and
Even though we had scrambled eggs for breakfast, I'm fine with that. Fine with that.
yeah, rice, egg, some dumplings, maybe some edamame.
Holy wow!
Mm.
Don't forget we've got fried rice leftovers as well.
Oh yeah, actually, I'll just do that.
Oh wait, no, that wasn't an excuse to
Yeah,
not.
I'm just heat that fried rice up. Done.
That's not. Well, that's not what I meant.
I knew it.
Just do that as like a side, and like with edamame and stuff, all those things. Oh, to all of you, I haven't streamed on my personal stream yet, but I think we had touch base on this a little bit last time. We finally got to meet Paul Kwon in the States. That was really cool. I really liked meeting him.
Awesome.
He's very quiet and shy, but he's a really, really cool person. Um, I'm excited that we're gonna be doing more stuff with Paul because Paul's a cool guy. That's like the only description I can think of, just a cool guy.
um, are you guys familiar with Furio Tedeschi?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I just uh, Skyped with him as we are going to be doing a workshop together in Vienna,
Mm.
which is nuts. Like I'm quite excited about it. We're trying to figure out what to present, but it was pretty trippy. Uh, Chatting with like one guy in Vienna and the other in South Africa, another in New Zealand.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, that's cool. So, and when is that again? I think it's coming up soon, eh? Like September?
September, yeah.
Oh, I got it right.
You were right.
I was paying attention. Dude, are you excited? So, do you want to tell everyone about it?
Yes, I should probably do some kind of like public service announcement. I'm really bad about that.
It's okay.
Um, yeah, yeah. Yeah. It's very exciting because I think I'm going to be doing a talk, like a talk, and then we're going to do a workshop separately. And I guess in the talk I'm focusing on concept art, and then in the workshop focusing on collectibles. And we might do like a actually get a file, bring a file, and like print it there because they've got printer there that they're going to use. And yeah, so it's cool though. Like there's some really awesome guys that I'm working with, and really similar headspaces about I don't know. They're all really deep thinkers. Like Furio, especially, he's really awesome, and I mean they all are. But like about really viewing ZBrush and any digital art as just another tool in the tool belt, you know, because it can easily become like the only and everything, you know. Just you get so focused on the actual digital aspect of it, but when you kind of view it as yet another tool to create whatever you're creating, then it's I don't know. I really appreciate. I'm glad I'm working with some guys in it that have a similar headspace.
Yeah, yeah, for
I was
sure, man.
I was worrying I was going to be like well out of my league just because I'm not super techie oriented. I sort of like glaze over.
I think it's kind of easy to do sometimes, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Sorry, I was the estimate. Did you do what?
Well, like for me, it's like for a really long time, I just didn't. Um, I don't know. Maybe I was just like, I just want to like make the thing. I don't really want to worry about like all the kind of like techie bits of that need to kind of come into showing how I make the thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
because that could be so time consuming, and it's like almost this whole other thing that you have to kind of learn. And I was just always like, no, I don't want to do that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yep. I get stuck there. Yeah, you're right, because it is just incredibly time consuming, eh?
Yeah, it is.
It's just like I guess I think I've heard you say this before. Like it's almost just viewing it as another aspect of the job that I'm doing sometimes.
Yeah.
But I'm also just mainly extremely excited because I've never even been to Europe. Haha.
Dude, that must be so exciting. Are you gonna Chiba? That's the most important question.
Yes, and and Andrew's horrified. He's like, "You're gonna leave us?"
That's crazy. And how long have you gone again?
It's not that long. It's like I think it's like 10 days total or something.
That's a long time. You were gone only a little bit longer than 10 days in the States, but for like 3 months.
Forever.
Cool. Jeez. And where are you gonna be staying?
I can wait. Is your mic the one, Layna? I can barely hear you.
Oh, really?
Boop. There it is. There it is.
And where are you gonna be staying?
At some hotel they booked me in. I don't really know anybody over there, which is funny because I mean I do know a fair few people that I've met in New Zealand that have gone and moved all throughout the world, which is pretty cool because there's been so many like you know a lot of people internationally come to do a bit of work at Weta sometimes, so I've met people from all over. But I don't think I know anybody in Vienna except for the new awesome people I'm getting to know now. But yeah, so that'll be interesting. But the like, yeah, it looks really cool. The city itself looks beautiful, so I'm excited about that.
Is there anything you're most nervous about?
That's a good question. I guess I don't know, the old always feeling out of one's league.
Oh, yep. Totally.
Yeah, it's like Troy was saying. I don't know. You just always end up thinking like, dude, what? Oh, I'm not like I shouldn't be presenting with that dude, or you know what I mean. But I'm sure once I get rolling talking on stuff, I just have to. I really want to like put some good thought into what we're presenting and make sure it's something that people can actually get something from, something to take away.
That's
I
gonna
don't
be
mind
awesome.
speaking to people. Like that part's not so bad. I'm not like a nervous public speaker. I'll be nervous, but you know,
No one
not,
will know.
nobody will know.
I remember a long time ago when I was working at this really small video games company. It was back in like 2005, 2006. We we got flown over to Taiwan to do a presentation to a school, and our boss at the time was just like, oh, it's just be a few students at this kind of like small school, and we'll just kind of like show them our game and talk a little bit about what we're doing and all that kind of stuff. We're like, oh yeah, that's cool. Then when we got there, he was like, okay, so this is like the auditorium for the school, and it was like bigger than some cinemas, man. It was like
Oh,
this immense like stadium with like this massive stage, and I was like, wait, this is like a school hall. Like
whoa.
how many people like fit in this hall, man? And they were like, oh, maybe like 2,500 students. And I was like, what? And then and then our boss was just like, oh, but there's the most of the seats are going to be empty. There's going to be nobody, blah 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 blah. Dude, it was like,
Packed.
I don't know, man. Maybe there was over 1,000 students in there, and
Whew.
we were all like, I don't know if we want to do this anymore, man. We're all, we're just kind of kids at that stage, man. We didn't really know. Oh man, it was yeah,
Yeah. God.
it was crazy. It was like, welcome to public speaking, starting off at the kind of the maximum. It was horrible,
Oh
but
God.
yeah, we got through it.
Thrown in the deep end.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, one thing that tripped me out is, I mean, I've lived and spent the vast majority of my life in places that are like relatively new when you think about it, as far as like not having really old culture there. Like so like New Zealand's a pretty relatively new country, and so is like the west coast of the United States as well. And so I've been wanting to go to a place that has really like heaps of culture, like centuries and centuries of culture that
Mm.
have been there. And so I'm excited about that. And then I was like, oh shit, yep, that's what it's gonna be. Because when I saw like a picture of the hall that we're speaking in, it had like a domed ceiling and like fucking bas relief on the walls. I was like, oh shit.
That's crazy.
I was expecting some, just like little like a conference hall, just a plain room with some chairs. Yeah.
Yeah, Europe's so like centuries and centuries of history, and I wonder if it would feel odd being surrounded by people that know the history of where they live, and then you're an
Yeah.
outsider coming in, being totally like, ooh, you know?
Yeah. Knees are also funny to sculpt. That is all.
Yep.
I think I just put like a line indication and a little bit of a bump. Boop. Good enough.
These are like detailed knees with like the legs straight. So like you get all the like weird bobbly bits and like you know?
Oh man, I'm not looking forward to doing anything realistic like that.
Yeah.
'Cause then it's just all weird. Like knees are weird. Like look at your knees
They're,
right now. What is that?
that's the thing. It's like whenever you stop and properly look at knees in real life, you're like, ew. You start looking at everybody's knees and they're all weird and like some of them look like other things. Like I remember somebody did that once, like I just never even noticed them, and somebody was like, have you ever noticed her knees? They look like a face. And I was like, what? Oh.
That's the one thing that happens to me a lot is that when you're trying to focus on one thing, when you're doing a sculpt, you start seeing it everywhere and paying attention.
Yep.
Yep.
I really appreciate appreciate that though, because it just brings your observational skills up.
I'm noticing more and more that I keep doing this thing, especially. I mean, I need to be aware of it while I'm streaming because people are clearly watching. But I do this thing where when I'm working on something specifically, and I get so close, I want it to be closer to my face. So I start like kind of putting it in the corner like this or something, and I get really close to it, and it's just like way over here somewhere, and and it's like not in the middle of the screen at all or anything like that. Whoops.
Just reading what Given was saying.
I was like, what is going on? It didn't even
Yeah.
say anything. You must be
No,
hilarious.
Given's just talking about people like being lowered into the hull from a harness to give your speech.
Oh my gosh. That's gonna be, you have to tell us when you're done how it felt, like if it was really nerve-wracking or anything like that.
Okay.
I'm really curious. I'm not sure I could do that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd just be like, yeah, but I did.
Do you, how do you feel about public speaking?
I don't know. Do you think that I could do it, Troy?
I don't know. It's something that you'd have to like take a shot at and see. Like it's still I get pretty nervous, but I've done it. You know.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
I don't
I think
know.
it's a pretty natural thing to feel pretty nervous, man.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think it's what the nerves like, and you don't know, I guess, until you do it. But it's then what you do with the nerves when you're up there. Like, does it kind of fuel your concentration and you kind of just go, or does it
Mm.
like make you freeze like a scared animal? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how much you're allowed to talk about this or not, but do you have a favorite project you worked on at Weta?
Hmm. Scanning in my brain.
Currently scanning.
Currently scanning. Yeah. There's been a lot. And the one that's been like by far my favorite, I can't talk about.
Oh yeah.
It is lame, super lame.
What's in your favorites that you can talk about?
Yeah, yeah, okay. So favorite that I can talk about. I, funny enough, I mean this goes back to practical days, but it was the content, not the fact that I was sculpting practically. But I really enjoyed working on District 9. I was learning heaps, and we did. I helped sculpt the prosthetics for like the main character's transformation as he's transforming into a prawn,
Mm.
and so that was a really cool experience. But we did get to do. It was fun because we got to have a bit of a play with um, what the transformation looked like. You know,
Hmm.
was it tearing through the skin? Was it his skin actually turning into the cells of a carapace? Was it, so we actually messed around and did a lot of different examples. Whoa, I'm sorry, I'm getting a knock at the door. I'll be
Okay.
right back.
No worries.
That's like the epic like pizza delivery that's being ordered.
Sorry, I'm back.
Okay. What was it?
It was a delivery.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It was pizza.
It could have been somebody's birthday present.
Whoa. Ooh. Ah.
Oh. Oh. But really, it was pizza.
But really, I mean, come on, guys, I was getting hungry.
I've done that quite a few times on the stream. I don't know, did Troy told you that one time? We were live streaming and it was my turn to make lunch. I think you were there. Troy was like, "Man, are you making lunch? Is it done yet?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm almost done. I'm just preparing some things." And I was like moving about the house and doing some other things. And he kept on asking me if it was done yet, and then it ended up being pizza at the door.
Oh, really?
That was my lunch. I mean, my me making lunch. I ordered a pizza.
I'm gonna disappear in a sec to make some lunch.
By the way, I was gonna say before I totally forgot. Even though I have like mixed feelings. It's hard. It's like as far as projects I've worked on at Weta, there's like.
Yeah, do continue. Sorry.
Oh, what was that? Sorry.
I said, oh yeah, do continue with your.
Yeah. So I mean, I have mixed feelings about The Hobbit because it was, it was very long, and there were some parts I really loved and really enjoyed working on, and it's a different story as far as like what I actually think of the end product and how it was to work on.
Mm-hmm.
And so, working behind the scenes some of the time was really cool, and actually got to have some fun exploring some ideas, and creatures and characters and all sorts. And that project was sort of my transition. Like I did both practical clay sculpting and digital sculpting on. So it was like, and we as a company we worked on it for like 5 years, um, through the transition of different directors and stuff like that. So I saw it go through a lot of different stages, and so that was definitely, like I said, parts of it were super fun, and then parts of it get a bit hellish. I think on any project, if you're on it for that long, then you start to like lose your mind towards the end. But
And how long was Lord of the Rings? A
What
Hobbit.
was it?
It was both. You did both. Just the Hobbit.
Yeah, I only worked on the Hobbit because Lord of the Rings. I was a fun fact.
Fun fact.
I was an orc on in Lord of the Rings.
That's awesome.
And so like it's funny because whenever I say that, anybody in Wellington is like, oh yeah.
What? Like, yeah, I was one too.
New Zealand cares when you say you were an orc. Like, oh yeah. Yeah, I know my brother was an orc. Yeah, my.
Oh, dude, you know what? Wait, I have to say something here.
Yeah,
I've got to like interject. So our next door neighbors where we live right now are also called Lindsay and Andrew, and they are in the New Zealand police force. And check it out. We go for a walk with our dogs one day, and Andrew tells me that he was an orc. He was an orc. Um, in the whole Helm's Deep sequence. So he was at Helm's Deep, and I was like,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, and it just fits in perfectly with what you said, Ben. Like here we've like moved out of Wellington, we've moved right next door to someone who was also like, yeah, I was an orc on.
Yep.
They were just like shit.
Everybody has been.
Yeah.
The number of people I meet here that were like extras throughout Rings are like, oh yeah, like nobody's interested anymore. And like but like again, opposingly, when I go back to the States and I mention it, people are like, oh, and like I've actually had people ask for like my autograph. I'm like, dude, you see me for like half a second, and
That's pretty funny.
But yeah, so that was when I first got to New Zealand and I hadn't moved here yet. I was just visiting, and I was like about 3 months on set for Return of the King, and yeah. But that's how I got introduced to the company. That's how I was like, oh, okay, Weta, this is the film industry in Wellington. Okay, this is pretty cool. Seems down to earth, even though they're making really awesome stuff here. And so that's when I knew I wanted to move back, just because I had spent the time there. So that was like my whole goal. Actually, was to come back and go back home to California, graduate university, move back to New Zealand, and become like a sculptor slash designer by the time they were making The Hobbit. So I was sort of single minded about that.
No, that's a
Yeah.
good game plan. It worked out.
It worked out. And then I met my husband at work, so that was handy as well.
Aww.
Oh, dude, just another fun fact.
Fun fact number 2.
I love that my sister actually has a better like nerdy Lord of the Rings meeting her husband story than mine was. One of my sisters also moved to Wellington, and she met her husband on set of Lord of the Rings, and she was
Wow.
also being
Sorry.
an orc, and because when you're being an orc in these scenes, and you have this mask on, and like your lips and your eyes around your eyes painted black so that you just blend in nicely or whatnot, and you're in a big crowd of orcs, and her husband was one of the guys that was in breakdown and was helping take the orc heads off in between scenes, because you get claustrophobic if you have it on for too long.
Mhm.
So these guys would come and help us take our heads off, and then like for the rest in between scenes. And so he like memorized which mask was her and would find her and like always take the
Aww.
mask off and be like, oh, it's you. And like
What are the odds?
yeah, what are the odds? And that's how they met on set.
Oh, whoops!
Aw.
It's you again.
You
Oh.
can. Anyway, we should go on a date.
Yeah.
That's some smooth talking.
Smooth.
That's awesome. I wish I could say we met at Weta, then it'd be like 3 stories. I also met Troy at Weta, and then we got
Oh.
married.
Okay. Matchmaking company. Yeah, when I met Andrew by asking to borrow his bat skeleton.
Haha, haha, that's really cute. So what happened? You asked him to borrow his bat skeleton, and he was like, you know what's an even better idea? We should get married. And that's what happened.
That's pretty much how it went down.
You're like exquisite.
I didn't know who he was. Like I'd met him once, and they were like, I was like, I need a bat skeleton as reference for this helmet, and they were like, Andrew Baker has a bat skeleton. Go ask him. And I'm pretty sure he said like teehee or something like that. No, he didn't.
Okay, what? Teehee. And then he got married.
Teehee. He's probably
Aww.
laughing right now if he's still listening.
I hope he is.
Probably laughing. Or he's probably just going, I did not tee hee.
Yeah, I most certainly did not teehee.
Lindsay has the story all wrong. Oh my god, Troy, I made Remy a little coat. It's like the tiniest little coat with the tiniest little collar. Woo!
Oh, that's so cute.
Little coat. We're trying to do.
Super cute, Layna. I keep glancing up.
Aw, thanks. I know she's taken such a long time, but we went over it with Paul, and then I went over it with Troy, and we're trying to make just like some ideas and adjustments. And I have to admit, so what happened? Oh, Troy, Andrew. I called Andrew Troy.
Oh my god!
I have to interject. Excuse me, that was all a lie of the story.
Lies.
Oh my goodness. So just as a so people know, could you describe and give us a quick like overview as to who Andrew Baker is and what he does?
Oh, me?
Of course.
Oh shit. Not always listening. He'll judge me. But
This is a test.
Yeah, totally. Right now he's like, oh yeah, what's
Yeah.
this gonna be?
He's sitting there with his finger to his mouth, going, what's she gonna say?
Yeah.
Like, it's like when somebody can't speak up to defend themselves, I'll be like, I taught him everything.
Yeah.
No, Andrew Baker is like, I always feel a little bit cheesy when I talk up my husband, but it does, like, if I'm honest, I have to talk him up a bit. He's a concept designer, and he's fucking solid. And he was like the first guy that I knew of. I'm pretty sure it might have been the first guy. I'm sure he'll correct me if I'm wrong. But at Weta Workshop to be using ZBrush. So literally.
Fun fact number 3.
Yeah, brought that to the company. And as far as like he started using it and was using it specifically for concept work, and he was the lead creature designer on the Hobbit films throughout. So like he designed heaps of cool shit, like the Three Trolls, the Goblin King. He was a big part of Smaug.
I never know how to say it. I just guess it every time.
Yeah. I feel like obliged to say it more correctly in New Zealand, because I think in the States they just say smog, but like
Oh God.
smog.
Wow.
And I probably would say that, but then I know here they actually pronounce things with an AU more properly, so I feel like I'm obliged to say like Smaug.
Smaug.
Yeah. But yeah, and yeah, like I said, trolls. Like some of the like the Goblin King, Grinna the Goblin. Like he was a big part of where the goblins went to in the Hobbit films. And but yeah, he's also had a huge part with Christian Pierce in the design of the new Godzilla that was in 2014, was it? Gareth Edwards Godzilla film. And yes, given smog. And and let's see, what else has he done? He's done loads. He started at Weta around the same time I did in 2007, and he just left earlier this year to pursue a solo career, and he's been freelancing and now working on another film currently. I'm letting people spell how to say Smaug.
Smeaug.
Meow.
Meow.
Yeah. So yeah, he's pretty. He developed some really an amazing pipeline for using ZBrush in concept art that I wasn't familiar with before him. So like he was kind of in there at the ground floor using ZBrush in concept art. But yeah, he's pretty amazing. I hope that was good enough for him, or not too good. Because if it's too good and I'm too complimentary, then he'll have ran away.
It's like that, like healthy balance.
Yeah. Like I said, compliments, but not the best.
Right now he's like, no,
No,
honey, no.
none of it. It's all shit.
And this was specifically, just to reiterate, this was at What a Workshop, not digital, correct?
Yes, correct. Yeah. If for those of you who don't know, because I can't believe the number of people who even live in Wellington and don't know the difference, or that they're different companies. What a Workshop is a very different company to What a Digital.
Yep.
Now this is not like a extreme hard fast line, but overall the big difference is What a Workshop is, well, A, it's much smaller, B, it's pre-production, and What a Digital tends to focus on post-production. And like I said, that's not a hard fast line. Sometimes they do some design work, sometimes they dabble, and vice versa for Workshop. But they're totally like separate companies now. And so yeah, so all of Andrew's work was at What a Workshop, and mine. Yeah, see, that was another like Troy being enlightened shit he already knows.
No, I think it's good.
Yeah,
I think it's awesome. Would you say that Andrew's had a really big influence on who you are as an artist today?
Yes, yes, I would. That most certainly has. I learned heaps from him over the years. Um, Definitely, like I mean, not, when I said earlier that he totally schooled me and taught me how to use ZBrush, but he's also he's just quite a phenomenal artist in general. He's always striving to better himself and push himself in totally new arenas, which is something that I deeply appreciate and have learned to take cues from. Like not to get too settled into any one part of like whatever what you do. Like it's good to specialize, of course, but like as an overall artist, to only do stuff that we're comfortable doing means you're not going to grow. And so like he really taught me that because he's just constantly stretching the boundaries of what the type of art he does and how he does it, which is why he didn't just stay doing like he didn't just stay doing only creature busts and rendering them out in Keyshot and that's that. He's doing full on environments now and using 2D and but he's just because that's going to feed into the type of art he wants to do. And so I've learned that you know I have to keep reassessing what kind of art I want to do and why. And so like what do I want the end result to be? Do I want it to be an awesome toy on my shelf? Do I want it to be telling a story so that people want to it's concept artwork so people want to know more about that character? Is it so whatever, what's the purpose of the art I'm making and how can I stretch myself or push myself to get better at doing that thing? So I mean all that stuff I feel like I picked up so much from Andrew's drive to want to become a better artist.
Hmm.
There's a spiel for you.
Aw, I can just hear Andrew's blushing.
He probably did leave. I bet you he went to go get a coffee. He's like, I don't have to listen. I'm not gonna listen to this shit.
Yeah.
You
he's
missed
like,
all
I'm
of
out.
it.
I'm out.
I'm out.
No, that's
I
cool.
should say it wrong.
And where do you find yourself wanting to like delve into most, and sort of branching off on your own? I know you may have touched on it earlier, but anyone tuning in, where's your head at as a 3D artist and ZBrush user?
Yeah. It's almost I've got a little bit of split at the moment about like because I have a real love for just like straight up sculpture, like which is why I did collectibles for so long at workshop because I mean I really love creating a piece with real flow and movement and playing with pose and stuff like that. And but and so I still have that love, and I kind of want to continue doing stuff like subject matter that I would love to have, like we were talking about with like the kaiju and stuff like that. But I have a unhealthy love for like dinosaurs and dragons, and so I'd love to do more of that as well. But at the same time, I have like I'm a total film nut. So I love, and I'm including TV with that, like HBO, and like because I'm just, and also I'll change that and say storytelling. I love storytelling, and so I'm just sort of I'm still in the process of questioning exactly what aspect, how I can use my art to really be involved in storytelling, and so yeah, so creating artwork for like a pitch package, say for like a for a TV, an idea for a TV series or idea for a film. I love world building, and that actually all happens through like workshop as well because we do a lot of world building. We'll have to come up with cultures and what they used in their daily life, and so like and the habitat and ecosystem and the animals that survive there, and like full on world building, which I know is super involved in games too.
Oh
And
yeah.
like massively. And so that kind of deep world building stuff I love. And so I've been like building my own stories for a while now, and I've got a few, and I want to use the digital art to kind of sell visually what those worlds look like. So, and whether it would be like maybe just developing a pitch package to sell to somebody. That could be because we've developed some contacts over the years, and so that kind of I'm still exploring how I can, in what way I want to be a part of that,
Mhm.
and because I don't know if I want to like completely branch off and start like script writing, because I don't know if I'm that much of a writer, you know.
Totally.
But how I want to marry the idea of storytelling and coming up with these stories and places and world building, and with like developing it through the art. I yeah. So sorry, that was so
It's okay.
articulate. I was sculpting at the same time. And so, for example, this one um, story that I've been developing for like a few years now, and started doing some artwork for it. But I'd love to do a collectible for it, so it's all kind of connected, you know.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from, and that I think with IHaztoys specifically, we are trying so hard to branch out further from just like, oh, here's a really cool concept, let's make it into a toy.
Mm,
We want to world build, we want to give personality and reason for these characters, and then even
mm-hmm,
so much further to make this character have essence with another character
mm-hmm,
and where they've come from, and then maybe even branch out to like building a comic or building a story or a short story
mm-hmm,
or you know even dabbling the idea of making a game just to make things
mm-hmm.
feel real rather
Yep,
than here's a piece of content. Right.
totally.
Mm.
Yep. And it's like, but you have to, and like so the people that have a real love for that stuff, like you guys, and are going to be the people to do that, because it really does take the minutia of like, and it's like again, going back to film, like people on set who, like, for example, set dressers, they have to be like, what would they have in their room, what does this character do all the time, how do they think, what would they, and so it's like it's that same mentality of really, whether you say it directly in the story or not, visually the story's there because you've thought about it, and you've put all of that those ideas into when you're building the characters,
Mhm.
and it just totally enriches whatever your sculpt is, or a story, if you somebody's put the thought into that backstory,
Yeah. Do you have any advice for people who are wanting to do something similar, like build their own uh, worlds for their characters?
Ooh.
Is that a big question? Sorry.
Oh, no, no, it's not that it's big, it's almost like I almost feel like I don't know how to tell people that yet. Well, because I'm still new at it. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Um,
Yep.
so like I don't feel like an expert at all there. Like, not, I don't feel like, but like and so it's like I don't have that experience built yet. I'm sort of just setting out on the phase of trying to build my own stuff. But it's, it's almost comes to a point when you've got these ideas that you're so excited about, that you're way more excited about them than any of the other stuff that you might be doing at work. It's like if you get to that stage, then it's like I think it's really worth making the time to give it a proper go, you know.
Mhm.
um so like that's sort of the stage I got to, where I'd had these ideas that we were mulling around for such a long while, and then it just came to a stage where it's like, you know what, I keep thinking about these places that we've been, these ideas that we've been building, and but it's like at work we get so much time, like, concentrated time while at work, to build these ideas and really flesh things out. And if you're only giving yourself the time to, like, when you get home and you're dead tired, or like on like whatever, how much of a weekend you have, and trying to then do a whole nother endeavor, a whole nother, like your own stuff, is really hard to do when you're working full time. So I because we tried to do that for years. It's like tried to build up these our own IP in our off hours,
Mhm.
and it's a that takes a long time, because no matter how hard you try, it's like these jobs are tiring, man. You put a lot into it, and it's hard to have the energy to put into your own stuff when you get home. So that's why it's like I don't know. I guess we've been trying to think of a way to work really hard, really hard, save up some money, and then maybe and then actually invest in our own stuff
Yeah.
for a while. So yeah, that's not really advice. That's just like how we've been thinking about it. To try and set out on that journey. It's still very new.
No, I think everything helps because everyone's still trying to find their own footing with what they want to do and how they want to do it. And I think it's always interesting listening to other people and what they're experiencing, how to get there as well.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like I know for us, we've had so many trials and errors and done something and failed and done something again and wanted to do it in a different way and you know, lots of trials and errors.
Yeah, fully.
Yep.
Yep. But
Yep.
it does it like, and you guys would. I'm asking you guys this. It does require a bit of a plunge, doesn't it? Like leap of faith, almost.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just going blindly somewhere and just crossing your fingers, you know.
It's like this. It's like this weird kind of combination of like um, completely not knowing what's going to happen. So there's like some fear and anxiety over that. There's like some weird kind. What?
I hit that button.
Oh.
God.
There's like some weird kind of like anxiety over you're not kind of like you kind of like wondering, you know, whether anything that you can do is will have any kind of like value to anybody else to the point of where you could
Yeah.
be potentially supported by things. So there's that aspect. There's like this weird anxiety that comes from like, oh well, you know, if I do this and you know, if it fails, what do I do then? Like, what kind of like safety nets are in place? Are there any safety nets in place? Like, what's going to happen? You know.
Yeah.
So there's like all these things. That's just three of them, but there's there's more stuff that goes into it, and then that's just kind of like talking about like the career side of it, not even like the personal side of it, or whether you've got family, or you know what's your own like personal situation, like not even talking about that, and all of those things come into it as well, and it's like it becomes a super like complex thing, and at the end of the day, it feels a little bit like you're not sweeping all that aside and just going fuck it, I'm just going to do it anyway. It's more like you're, no matter which way you look at it, man, you're taking a risk. That's
Yeah.
and you try to like calculate it as best you can because you are kind of like living and dying by it. You know, it's your decision. You control like 99% of your day. You're controlling pretty much every aspect of it. And I think there's something kind of awesome about that. There's something very kind of like refreshing and I don't know the real kind of like way to describe it, but anybody who has done it, they'll know. It's just there's like a it's like liberation combined with like exhilaration combined with like fear and anxiety. So it's like, oh shit, this is awesome. I'm doing the thing. I can like reach down and like mess around with my dogs on the floor. I can like get up and go to the store right now. And then you'll have days like that, but then you'll have days that it's just like, oh fuck man, is this gonna be the right thing? Like I don't know, man, is this working? Like it just goes up and down like that. But
Yeah.
for me personally, I feel like I enjoy that. I think I enjoy that sometimes, you know, just to be kind of in control of my destiny, so to speak. Yeah.
I mean, when you think about the way you're describing the mix of feelings, if you think about anything that's like a bit of a rush, there's always got to be some anxiety involved. There's got to be some fear involved because you know because I mean, yeah, that's what makes it a rush, you know. But I do think you end up becoming a much more confident and independent person
Mm.
because you've done it and you're surviving, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like if you haven't done that, you always live in the fear of, oh, what if? But then I can't do that because then what if I don't? And then, like you said, those fears in the back of your mind about no safety net, and then what kind of, and then you let that stop you entirely, and you just always are dependent on something else to keep you going, you know. And so
Yeah.
I just think
Yeah.
you don't end up taking risks, and it's like I always see parallels in everything in life and art, and that's so, you know, may sound far off, but like the parallels of taking a risk in a piece of art and the parallels of taking a risk in life, you
Mm.
know.
Mm.
And so
Yep.
like when you do that and you step outside of your comfort zone, you do something with no safety net, it's like it makes you think that way, even about artwork as well. You know, to take those risks, don't
Mm.
be safe. And like I
Yep.
said, somebody mentioned something about like you gotta be willing to fail, and that's fuck yeah, yes.
Mm.
uh, you're gonna,
Yeah, you're gonna fail
yeah. And
many,
oh, that
many times.
many times.
Yeah.
Uh, this is another thing when I was talking about Andrew before and his kind of the way he thinks about how he grows in his art. This is something I always took away was that um, story of I can't remember. I'm terrible with knowing the original where it came from, but basically, a guy goes into a music school and is told, "We've got one pupil here who's just unreal. They're amazing, and they're gonna be remembered, you know, because they're doing some amazing music." And I think they were a violinist. I might be totally screwing this up, but you'll get the idea. And there's like one room where he hears this beautiful, perfect music coming out of it, and then out of another room, just there's all these weird noises of like just strange noises. And he's like, and he assumed the amazing student was, you know, the one with the beautiful music coming out of it, but it wasn't. It was the one with all the shit sounds coming out of it because the guy that one other guy had just, you know, practiced the same song over and over and over and over again until it was perfect. And
Mm.
but he had no range and he couldn't do that many other songs, you know. But
Yeah.
this other dude just kept on doing, again, pushing himself so far outside his comfort zone to be able to take massive risks and do unusual things and think of music differently and do things that he'd never done before. So you suck at first, you know, when you do something that you're not comfortable with or that you don't have a lot of experience in, you suck at first. And then
Mm.
if you're used to being an awesome musician, it's a bit of an ego hit to suck at something. And so it's like, you know, the same thing with art, you know. You think, oh, either I work at Weta or I've worked at this place, and oh, so I shouldn't suck at anything. But actually, you have to be willing to suck
Yeah.
at whatever you do, or else you're just gonna box yourself into a corner and never do anything different, and you know, never grow.
Mm. Mm. Yep. Totally, man.
Mm. Oh, somebody said they were enjoying the talks. Yay! I'm glad. Sorry.
Oh no,
Like
don't
I'm just
apologize.
yammering.
I think it's awesome. This is exactly what I was hoping for, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, basically, what Gibbon just said, it I guess something has to be said about it, but it's like even having a job and holding down a job in our industry, man, it's a tough thing already to do that, I think,
Yeah.
because there's lots of things that go into it. But at the same time, um, yeah, it's just different, man. It's just totally different when you step away from that and you try to survive on your own. It's just this whole other thing. I don't know if it's like the final form of adulting, but I think it's kind of like what Josh was saying on our podcast the other day. It's like, just like 10 years ago, we were looking up at the people who are like 10 to 15 years older than us, and they were the people who are like going out and doing the things. They were the people who are opening studios and making new things and like making films, and they were kind of like leaving the nest to go do their own thing. But now we are those people and there's other people like looking to us and being like, oh shit, they're going to do the thing, and it's so weird to actually now be in that position where we've stepped away from the nest and we're trying to do our own thing. It's like
Mm.
this, yeah, it's like getting old, man. But at the same time, it's like it seems kind of natural, you know,
Yeah.
in a way, to kind of like be at that point where you go, man, I need something more, you know, like I don't know whether I'd be able to like give a, you know, settle down at a studio and give another 10, 15, 20 years without having like a some kind of clear outlet to do my own thing, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point, Ferrex. I think that's something that I unintentionally did as well. When I was in school, we specifically had like it was called like creature design in ZBrush, and the end of final was you had to sculpt. Sorry. Yep.
Yeah.
The the final exam was to sculpt a dragon, and I ended up not sculpting a dragon. I sculpted some like weird demon bird creature with like blades for legs or something like that. And my teacher never forgot me, you know?
Oh.
In a good way, not a bad way. And it was fun. I genuinely had fun doing the thing.
Mm.
So I think sometimes it's okay. There's a time and a place for everything, but I think when it comes to your own like artists and what you enjoy and setting the pace for a change in future, I think that's cool. Also, hi, Danny TD Box. Welcome to the stream. And if you just for everyone tuning in, I know a lot of people are sort of popping in and out. We've got John Troy here, aka Hazardous Arts, visual sculptor for IHaztoys. We've got Lindsay Crummett, who is a part-time. Uh, I want to say this right. You're a full-time 3D digital sculptor, but you're
Yeah.
part-time at Weta doing design
Yeah.
and part-time freelancer, doing
Correct.
all sorts of cool things.
Right.
Um, And there's me, full-time digital sculptor for IHaztoys, who's the person working right now on something called Chibi Remi-7, which is a collaboration with Kwon, who is the original designer for her. And unfortunately, the person we have missing in action, which one day would be cool to chat with, is Andrew Baker.
We'll drag him on someday.
One day.
Yeah. It may not be that far in the future after he wraps on his current project and is home more often.
That would be
Mm.
really sweet.
And uh I like how Gibbon keeps like totally knows the stories I'm telling, but knows them more accurately. And like,
Gibbon's that sort of guy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, he totally like as soon as he said that, I'm like, yeah, that was
Yeah.
it.
Is there art stations for each of you? Yes, I've got Lindsay's like on tab. I
Woo.
copy and paste it.
Aw, thanks.
You're welcome.
All right, I've got to go and make some lunch. I've been saying that for an hour.
Oh shit.
I'll
Well, if you honestly,
Uh-oh.
he changed his mind.
okay. Okay.
I said I could starve for a little bit.
No lunch for Layna. None. Done.
Practice where failure is allowable and practice where you're performing or actually performing. That's a very good point, Gibbon. Yeah, breaking that old story that we were talking about, that I was talking about before, to practice when failure is allowable and practice where you're performing or actually performing. So like, I wouldn't like that's exactly true because I wouldn't screw around if I was at work and had to get a concept piece done in a day. I'm not gonna like do something I've never ever done before and take a massive risk because yeah, that's not the time for it because obviously at that stage failure is not so allowable. But if I'm at home and in my own time, I'm gonna try and stretch and do stuff that I'm not so solid at. That was a better way of putting it. Sorry, just wanted.
You can carry on streaming. I'll do the
Oh,
links.
sorry. By the way, just so you know, when I was looking up Andrew Baker on the PlayStation 4, there was like, I made a video of it. I could just scroll down for like a solid 30 seconds and it was like of all the Andrew Bakers that existed.
All the bazillion Andrew Bakers.
So many. Andrew Baker should start putting the Andrew Baker in his name, like legally.
The.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I kept my name, because I'm the only Lindsay Crummett that I know of in the world.
Really? Crummett is a really cool last name.
It's funny.
Lindsay's link is broken. What? No.
Yeah, everything that you posted was just ham. That was such a ham-fisted.
Wait, I just clicked it.
Link
Look,
drop
look.
there, link drop. Oh my
I'm
God.
clicking the link. Look, it goes straight to.
Oh
Look,
my God.
look it. It went straight to her art station.
I've clicked both, and they're all errors.
Well, your computer is messed up.
The only one that's right is yours. Typical.
What? No.
Unbelievable.
Look, everyone watch. I'm clicking it. Wait for it. It works.
Sorry.
I don't know. Can you post both Lindsay's and Andrew's? Oh no, sorry, Troy. We've also, for anyone tuning in and tuned in and about to tune out, whatever tuning you're kind of doing at the moment, Troy and I also both have our own Twitch channels. Mine is Twitch TV / Layna_Lazar, and I stream Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, same time. And Troy streams in the evening, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and also streams on the Pixelogic channel every 2 weeks. Is that correct? So you guys can catch us on our own streams if you want some more cool content and stuff like that, but probably more panties involved. Boop. Because that's what we do. Our own Twitch streams involve mostly us streaming, us sculpting our toys to be. So anything that we're sculpting on our stream, you will most likely, like 98% chance, find it on IHaztoys.com. So it's a kind of a chance for us to interact with you guys and you guys to see what we're working on and how we did it and the process from start to finish. And so far it's worked out pretty well. A lot of fun. Made a little niche community with you guys. The end.
Yay! I think Andrew was away that whole time that I was saying nice things about him.
That's hilarious.
Yep, I just found that out.
Oh, Andrew timed that just beautifully.
Mm-hmm. He could feel praise coming on.
He did the thing that you said he would. He ran away. He was like, nope.
Yep. Nope.
Don't want it.
Noped out of it. Don't want it.
I'd have to say that this was successful. I enjoyed you hanging out with us. It's not come to an end yet, but so far I have to say, I think this is the most work I've gotten done streaming in such a very long time.
That's great. I really enjoyed it too. Thank you very much for having me. Inviting me. I really appreciate it.
That was a good idea, right, Troy? Uh-huh.
Now that I've started to get a little bit more than hang of it, I've been getting some work done on feet.
Feet. It takes a while, but you get used to it. And the stress and anxiety of being like, oh man, people can see what I'm working on, it slowly starts to die over time.
Yeah.
And then sometimes even when you find yourself stopping what you're saying, you kind of stop caring because I think most of the time people aren't fussed too much.
Mm, that's good that they're not.
I mean, most of them.
Yeah.
What is that odd one? No, I don't know.
If I were streamed on my own, I would just have to have a camera on Chiba at all times.
We did that a few times on our own streams.
What was that?
We did we did that a few times. I had a little camera on Manaki for a while.
That's awesome.
It was pretty good. Sometimes you just don't want to stream with the video, but when you've made it a part of your stream, it's hard to not.
Yeah. Doggo cam
That always works.
always.
Have you gotten any work done, Troy?
A little bit, yeah. It's 3:30, by the way. Just a heads up.
Okay, then we'll wrap up.
Hmm?
We'll wrap up here in a bit. Go play some Dark Souls.
I was gonna say, you're gonna get. Should we go directly into Bloodborne?
Wait, what?
Should we just go directly onto Bloodborne?
Dude, Troy, you need to get a you need to get a copy of Bloodborne. I don't. Do you think all three of us could play if you got Bloodborne?
Robot Layna.
Is that what it sounds like on the stream? I sure hope not.
Not on the stream. Doesn't sound like on the stream.
That's
That's what I
so
was waiting for
silly.
that. Good that to me though.
If you got another copy of my robot,
Can you back down?
does that fix it?
It's clearer.
Anyway, yeah, if you got a copy of Bloodborne, do you think all three of us could play? This is really important.
I think so.
Lindsay plays Bloodborne. That's fun fact number 5.
Wow, I got no idea what you're saying. Yeah, sorry.
Poor robot Layna.
Yeah.
Always me. Oh.
Yeah.
Let's try that. That make any difference?
So far.
Sounds clear.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Dude, we've been loving Dark Souls. I think we're on the verge of beating it, so we have to go to the DLC content before we beat the game. I've had a lot of fun, man. I don't know, Lindsay, if you like it now that we've played it, because it's a little like I'm pretty sure it'd be extremely challenging for me to play by myself without Troy. Like,
Oh really?
I don't know what people were saying. They were like, it's way easier than all the others, and it's
Really?
easier than Bloodborne. I'm like, no.
What?
What? I think it's easier than Bloodborne.
Oh really?
I think it's easier than Bloodborne, man. But I think that the game is just as unforgiving as the original Dark Souls. Like in
Yes.
the way that it's like, oh, you made a mistake, oh, you're dead. Like it's not like, oh, you can get hit 5 or 6 times before you die. It's like, oh, this boss, like it's almost like every how can I put it? If you don't spend the time kind of like looking around, trying to like gather everything up, and spend the time kind of like just leisurely kind of like making your way through the game, you'll come up to like a new enemy in a new area, and that enemy will just destroy you in 1 second. Like he'll just like you'll make one wrong move and it will just attack you and you'll die, and you'll be like, huh, okay then, I see that this area is kind of difficult. And and then it'll be the same when you like run into a new boss. You'll like jump into a boss arena and the boss will come out and you'll be like, dude, yes, I got that. Oh, I'm dead. Just insta death basically.
Instant.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. Like, I think if we played not together, do I still sound like a robot, by the way?
No, it sounds
No,
better.
no, you're fine.
If we didn't play together, I'd enjoy it. I think it's just I mean, because when I played Dark Souls 1, I played by myself. I played that game, what, like 3 times? And then I played it again for DLC or something like maybe twice, and then DLC. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, if you're someone that just does not have the patience for something that's unforgiving, I think they've definitely tapped back into the roots. Like, how many times did we die from that boss last night, man? Like,
I died 3 times, and I think yeah, I used 3 embers on that boss, and then I think when we played with you, I think it was 2. So we died like 5 times. That was the most that we died. So to be honest, compared with Bloodborne, man,
Dude,
it's been way easier.
whoa, yes, I died so many fucking times on some of the bosses.
Yeah.
well, I don't know, but that's playing together. I think if it was playing without you, it would. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. It's like I think the difficulty is quite similar to the difficulty of the DLC in Bloodborne, where it's like just unforgiving, completely.
Oh yeah, you can still get absolutely slaughtered just by like a random thing, like just a little creature that you come across in like a level. If you aren't careful, it will destroy you, man, like instantly. So it's like you always have to have your wits about you in Dark Souls. I feel like that was a bit more forgiving in Bloodborne, especially once you got strong. You could just kind of go back to those old areas and just carve through people, and it's a little bit like that in Dark Souls too, but it's still like, oh, you can't be too cautious.
Yeah, for anyone who does like Bloodborne or vice versa, Dark Souls, I definitely recommend Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3 if you only have a PS4. Um, so then maybe you would like it. I don't know. I think I'm just hesitant because I know sometimes it gets really infuriating. Like, do you remember that one creature in Bloodborne that we called him a brain sucker or something, and he'd have that one move that grabbed you and sucked out all of your insight?
Oh yes, I remember. Yes.
There's lots of creatures like that in Dark Souls where they just have this random move and just completely annihilates you and all your health is gone. You're like, dude,
Wow. That's
whoa.
yeah. That's harsh. Cause that guy, I'm like, that guy scares the shit out of me. Whenever I
Oh,
know he's freaking around, I'm like,
there's some amazing creature designs in Dark Souls 3, man. Amazing. Just absolutely to the point where it's like Impress Troy.
Oh man, yeah, that one thing, dude. I wish I could like spoil it, but I don't want to. That one creature is my favorite design I think I've seen in a really long time. Is brilliant. It's the creepiest thing. When we opened that door and we saw it, we were like, "Oh my, what, what the hell is that?" And I was just trying to like walk around it and like look at it, and oh my god. And then when it like stood up and you got to see like what was under its belly and stuff, it was like, oh dude, this is the best ever design. It's so good, man. I'll send you a picture of it, Lindsay.
yeah, I do.
Oh, but you're gonna spoil it for Lindsay.
But you said I shouldn't play it.
Oh, you shouldn't play it if you don't have like patience, because I don't think at this point, like how busy we are, I don't know if I would have the patience to play Dark Souls alone. Like,
I gotta say, I got really distracted right now, but for a good reason. Her butt is so cute.
wait, what? Really?
It was like from that angle, it's just like this tiny little.
Yay! That's exactly what we were going for. Just a little like a boop, beep, beep. I'm a little butt.
Yeah.
Troy definitely gave me some guidance because the butt has to be just right. No,
Yeah.
because Remi's butt in her full blown design is
Uh,
very butt like. So plus it's been really cool trying to like break down these little Nendroids. They're just so cute, but they're so simple. But everything they've grasped everything about what that character was,
yeah.
and it's just they've been such great tools to reference for her. So I think it's going in the right direction. In fact, I'm a little bit curious. I'm gonna just open something random here. I don't think I've ever really seen, other than Sonico, like an Android or a Chibi that's got like an exposed bum. So I hope when she's printed and done, her butt goes down in history. Did you guys see Remi's butt? It looks so cute, like a little pew. That's what everyone's gonna say. um, let's see. February. So I've got something from February, I think. Jesus. Okay. Let me see. That's how long this project has gone on. I just can't even believe it. I'm gonna open it. I'm gonna open it up and see what I find, and then we'll wrap it up and say our goodbyes. Jeez, Louise. Yeah, she's changed. Oh my god. I'm like, that's gross. She's like falling over. What was I even thinking? Why didn't I see that? See how what? Yeah, she doesn't even have a butt. Oh my god.
Oh,
Ah. I think I just take so long on projects because it takes me so long for my eye to develop properly on the specific thing I'm supposed to be making.
yeah, I think that's pretty normal though. Like, I always do that, and it makes me feel. Some of the time, it makes me feel like I should never stop because, like, every time I sculpt for a couple more days, and I look at a couple days before, I'm like, oh fuck, that was horrible. And then it's like,
Same. Dude, and then I'm like, if I feel that way now, what is it gonna look
yeah,
like next week?
yeah,
And then
exactly.
and then everyone will see the horribleness now and have seen it when I didn't see it until it's too late. No.
No.
But no, it's cool. It'll get there. Um, but I'm hoping for this to be done soon. I'm really excited about it. I'm just glad to be back. I'm glad that there's no more vacations, no more being sick, no more nothing. Get her done.
Get her done.
Get her done.
Exactly.
What the hell?
Um, I hope that everyone can see my brand new custom UI, by the way. I spent like a good amount of time on it. So just saying. And Troy's using it. So I feel pretty proud.
Yeah. I was saying for like months that I need to sort out my UI, but then Layna did it for her own thing. So I was like, I'm gonna take that.
I missed everything you guys said. It died. But um so those hours went by really, really quickly.
Yeah, they did.
That's actually incredible. That's the shortest the stream has felt in so long. Wow. I'm including our streams as well. Sometimes it feels like it just is a long stream.
Mm.
Dude, so big, huge thank you to you, Lindsay, for coming and hanging out with us, especially for the whole duration. That was cool. I'm so happy that you hung out with us.
Oh no, all good. I was getting work done, and I felt bad being like, okay, late. So no, it's all good. I enjoyed it.
Ah, I'm glad. I hope you guys tuning in live enjoyed it, and also to those who are listening right now via YouTube or whatever channel it is that you're listening to this on to the things. Hope you enjoyed it. And
I won't be streaming tomorrow. Tonight, by the way.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Slight schedule realignment.
yeah,
Yeah, I won't be streaming on Pixelogic until next week.
so then wrapping that in, so first of all, like I said, we do have our own Twitch stream channels. Troy, would you mind posting both of the links to your stream, my stream, in the
Yeah.
link? I hope one day that Lindsay has her own channel. She currently does not yet. Well, she has a Twitch. I'll like link it right here. Lynn
And Instagram.
and Instagram. Can you do all the things? Can you do everything, Troy?
Oh, I can
No.
do something.
Oh, you can do whatever you want. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But I'll tell Troy what to do. Dude, Troy, you just linked the entire my stream and your stream in one link. That's not gonna work. Yeah, again, so thank you, Lindsay, for being here. Just to wrap things up, Troy will not be streaming tonight, but from now on, what we've done to, I think it's kind of a test, but I think it's a better idea. We're going to be doing both of our Pixelogic channel streams in one day. So you'll get the late kind of afternoon, evening, you'll get me at 5:30 if you're in the States, and Troy is going to be around 1 a.m., 1:30, but 8:30 in Z time. So you'll pretty much get like a big block of IHaztoys content in one go, which will be cool. And he's going to be doing that every 2 weeks, and I'll be here every Sunday for you guys in the States, and every Monday here on this side of the planet. But the next person coming up is not Troy this week. So 1 second, who's after you? Oh, so you guys have a holiday in the States, so no one is gonna come up tomorrow, or Tuesday. So you got 2 days break from Pixelogic stream. But when they come back after holiday, you will be hanging out with so much monsters, doing so much jobs, and Ashley Adams, of course, with her wonderful and amazing creature design. Hang out with her on Wednesday, and that our Thursday, your Wednesday, all the things. We will drop some more links in the Pixelogic stream chat if you guys want some more information on Lindsay or Troy or myself. Lindsay, feel free to drop any links you want in the chat. Anything else you want to say, Troy and Lindsay?
No, I think that's about it. Yeah.
No, just thanks so much for being so awesome, you two, Troy and Layna, for having me, and thanks so much everybody that's been hanging out. I've really enjoyed it. I've been hanging out in the actual chat for Layna and Troy streams for ages, so it was really cool to get to actually chat.
Dude, like a real chat. It's true.
Yeah.
Lindsay's
Yeah.
hung out with us so many times during work, and now it feels good to finally like stream and real chat.
Mm, mm, mm.
Cool.
Cool. All right.